All right, everyone. We're back. I'm back. It is the Thursday night forum.
I'm back. That's more important.
Tony's back. Tony, how you been?
Better now. Just got overcome with this all the medical stuff and everything else, and just needed a break.
Yep. Alonzo, you're back. You were on last Thursday with Stan, right?
Yeah. First of all, I got 2 words. Hello there.
Hello there. Okay. Shout out. Yeah, go ahead, Alonzo. Sorry.
Yeah. Shout out to Uwe Kenobi. And thanks for having me, Ray. Thanks to see you, Stan. Good to see you again, Tony. And yeah, come on, Arsenal. Hello to people in the chat. It's good to see you guys again.
Yep. Stan, thank you for hosting last Thursday as well. Did a great job.
No problem at all, mate. Enjoyed it. Had a good bit of footy chat last week, and glad you're back from your vacation, looking refreshed just before the North London derby. Stresses you out, and you wish you had another holiday to go on the day after.
It was one of those. It was one of those where the missus said, "Okay, you're not doing that anymore. We're going away on vacation." So I had to hand the reins over.
But it was good though, right? Because your holiday did you plan your holiday to fall into when there was no football?
No, just looked at. I always do have a sneaky look for the international fixtures and all that stuff. You know what I mean? But yeah, it didn't work out that way. It was just luck in certain respects, and we hope that Arsenal have a bit of luck in this October coming. So we're going to get straight into it tonight. We're going to talk about the North London derby, big game, a little game coming up against our rivals down the road. That lot. And well, I have a little bit of a stat sheet to show you guys as well. I thought some things were interesting. And then we'll do some predictions, part 2. So Matt, Maahir, and Gary did predictions on Sunday. So we're going to pretty much follow the same format and go through that. So we'll try to motor along and move it along really quickly. And then, of course, we'll talk about the fixtures lists, and we can mention Tony Adams if we want as well on Strictly Dancing. Stan?
Man came lowered down, straddling the cannon and waving. That's all I've got to say. I was like, because I was flicking through my Facebook feed, and a mate of mine who's a Tottenham supporter, he just had a picture of Tony Adams straddling the cannon and waving. And I thought he'd photoshopped it. It was a bit of banter. And then it popped up on my YouTube feed, and I actually saw the footage of it. And I was like, man actually did that. Okay.
For real. Yeah, I saw his dancing. Listen, a little bit wooden. He needs to flow a little bit more, but Tony Adams is a winner, and fair play to him for kicking in there, Alonzo, and doing that for charity.
Yeah.
Alonzo, you didn't see it, did you, Alonzo?
No, I mean, I don't have network. I don't have access to BBC, so that's what she said.
It's on YouTube. It's on Twitter. You can find.
It's on YouTube.
Okay.
Tony can find anything in the world. So, did you see it, Tony? Tony Adams?
Yeah, I saw it.
All right. No comment. No comment. He can only get better, you know. Football and some familiar faces return tonight. That's us for a non-stop flight to London for a North London derby. Welcome. Grab a beverage and hit the like button on the way, and we'll get through a few comments here. BX Gunner said this bird has a smoking section this time. I'm not smoking out the hatch again. We almost lost Tony last time. Mr. Tom is here. I see later in the chat. Mr. Tom had a pint. 1 pint with Gary.
Why do I think there are more than 2 pints?
Oh, what, they met up? But Gary, is Gary already in the UK?
Yeah, Gary's over there.
So they let him in then?
He got through.
Okay.
He got through.
And he's already met up with Mr. Tom?
Yeah.
Is it, Mr. Tom, what was it like? Was it a case of never meet your heroes, or?
Yeah. You should never meet your heroes, right, Stan?
Yeah. Mr. Tom's like down in his pint going, anyway, I've got to go, mate. Got to go and do a couple of chores, you know what I mean?
I heard Tony Adams replicated his training session. Dance like
He
Grenade.
did that. You see that? He done the old like thing. I thought that was quite funny when he was like, could I taking the piss out of himself? Putting in that the Granada training bit, and they were dancing to obviously Go West, yeah. And then for the last time when they got round to the chorus, like the people that were singing the song, they sort of changed it to like 1-0 to the Arsenal. So you know they held all the little bits sprinkled in there, but his scores were bad, man. I don't think his highest score was fours and threes, man.
Yeah, can only get better. Things can only get better.
Well, it doesn't get voted off.
That's what I'm saying. All right, Stan. We have we're going to talk about the Northland Derby. So start us off there. My take from this is we've got a few players that have been resting up, taking it easy. The three Gabbies are at home. A lot of other players haven't traveled too far or played too much. But Kayasaka had to save England a little bit with a 3-3 draw. Still getting relegated, but he showed his class from the left wing back position. Am I right in saying that?
Well, that's what he played in the first game, wasn't it? He played at the left wing back position, and I don't think he had a very successful time there. And in the following game, he came on as a late substitute in his natural role, the position that he plays for us on the right-hand side, and totally helped change that game. You know, got England back into the game by all accounts.
So on the flip side of that, we have Heung-min Son flying back 13 hours from Korea. He scored 2 goals while on international duty, but you know that jet lag's going to hit. It's an early kickoff on Saturday as well. So could we say we're a little bit fresh? We're going to be a little bit fresher than them.
Who knows? I mean, the one thing that was, looking at our players that went out on international duty, Kieran Tierney got a knock on the head and got withdrawn from a game, right? So we don't know how serious that's going to be. And again, I know a lot of people say that, you know, he has a lot of injury woes, but getting a knock on the head, you know, that's not a reoccurring muscular injury or a problem with a bone or a hammy or, you know, I'm getting at. It seems unfortunate. And obviously, because it's a head thing, you never know if they have to give it a few days or whatever, because as we all know now, a lot of stuff about concussions and head injuries, people are being very careful about all of that. So we don't know whether he's going to be available. But the one that I was really curious about was Tomiyasu. Played in the first game on his international duty and then was withdrawn from the squad and flew back to Arsenal. But as I understand it, not because of an injury. So, I mean, I don't think it's a disciplinary issue or such, but I mean, why is that? Has Arsenal requested that he comes back early and they've released him?
Yeah, Arsenal have advocated to get Tomiyasu back and did the same thing with Thomas Partey. So I think the club's moving in much better ways these days.
I didn't know you could do that. I thought that once, you know, I didn't know you could, you know, request a player to come back in the middle of their international duty. I thought that once you allowed them to go, you know, they were under their national manager's kind of purview. And obviously, if they do get injured, then they would send them back, right? You know, if they get injured, they don't want them hanging around. They send them back to their club to fix. So I'm surprised at that. I didn't know.
Yeah, they usually try to do anything to get them back. Wenger always tried to do it. Sometimes when national teams say yay, sometimes they say nay. So it's hard to tell.
I think also with Partey and Tomiyasu's injury history, I think that there was some cause and concern as well because they are still an important part of the team. So I think there's also that factor. And also playing Tottenham, let's not forget how Partey was dirty missed in the last game. So maybe that's an issue as well.
Yeah, no, exactly. Partey was really missed in the last game. And Tottenham have those wide forwards who are dangerous. Kulusevski maybe has some kind of an injury, a niggle right now.
He's missing. And Loris as well, I believe. They've got two key players missing in Hugo Loris and Kulusevski, which, you know, could help Arsenal.
Notwithstanding.
But we've got that in early, man. It's not even 10 minutes on the board, man. We've got notwithstanding in. But it's going to be interesting to see, because Arsenal keep their cards close to their chest when it comes to injuries. So it's a little bit sketchy at the moment who's going to be 100% fit for Arsenal, you know?
Yeah.
You know, as I mentioned, Tierney, Partey, Tomiyasu, Ben White had a little bit of a niggle going on, didn't he? Just before the international break, Odegaard had a bit of a niggle, went away. Hope he's not, you know, aggravated anything further. So it's going to be interesting to see where we are, because when it comes down to it, I think the squad is a little bit brittle in depth, and we're beginning to see it now. We're only a really bad injury or booking away from, you know, depending on who the player is, from sort of like being in shit street.
And we have 4 or 5 brittle players too, and that doesn't help.
Yeah.
And one other thing as well, something that I mentioned on the pod last week, you know, Gabriel Jesus is 1 yellow card away now. I find it difficult to believe that he's not going to pick up a yellow in a North London derby, because they're quite physical games.
Yeah.
You know, and he does get into it a little bit, doesn't he? He ain't afraid to get in the mix.
He gets into physical challenges with Bournemouth, you know, teams at the bottom. Mr. Tom did have fun with Gary. He made sure to get 20 McNuggets on the way home. Did you split them, Mr. Tom?
Probably not.
Yeah, he gave Gary one.
Yeah, I think you would share, right? Tony, what do we want to do with these fullbacks, the Arsenal fullbacks? For me, I want Kieran Tierney, who's got that experience of playing in North London derby, and I want Tomiyasu, who's a dedicated defender, up against Son. For me, Tony.
Yeah, you definitely want him playing against Son. We seen it last year. Then you seen what happened when we were stupid and played him on the left again. The fans asked for it. Arteta delivered. Stupidest mistake of the year. Cost us Champions League. Maybe he'll be a little bit smarter now.
Listen, these are the signs, Alonso. Tony's pointing out things that we saw last year in the fixture away from home. Tomiyasu on the right side, Son on the left, matched up with Rob Holding. Arteta's got to learn from these things, right?
Well, Sergio's not playing, so I don't know why that would be an issue. And I wouldn't mind seeing Ben White in the short Son. But you know, I don't have no issue if it's somebody else with Ben White playing under right. But even still, I think that you know, hopefully Saliba can handle North of the derby. I don't think I'm concerned about Tomiyasu or Ben White in the right back. I'm more concerned about the atmosphere in that game for Saliba, and also for Gabriel Jesus, or excuse me, Jesus Megalesh, because Gabriel Jesus has these mental lapses that come back and hurt his mental state at times. So I think this is more important for center backs who are very young still, or not very young, but it's up to Gabriel Megalesh to kind of guide Saliba to hopefully defend better against Tottenham in this time around. So it can help Saliba out. Comfortable, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. Gary has made it. He's beating jet lag right now.
Hi, Gary.
Hello.
Gary, rumor has it that Mr. Tom made you watch him eat 10 chicken McNuggets and wouldn't give you any.
It was 20.
20. And then he gave you one.
And he only had 1 pint of beer.
And he wouldn't even let you dip in the sauce.
No, he did not let me. Mean guy.
How's it going, Gary? How are you enjoying it over there in the UK? Where are you in the UK? Where are you?
I'm in Acton, if you know London. So, I believe it's
Dad's house. Whose house? Dad's house.
Oh, you're with family?
Yeah, my dad lives in Acton. So.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so we actually did. I don't know, Mr. Tom let you know. We actually did meet up with Lola and Mark, but they dragged it out fashionably late. Basically, they came when the pub was closed, but they had proof that they had beers on the table, so they let them in.
Oh, good. Okay.
There you go. That's how you get into a club after it's shut. You show a picture of your beer sitting on a table.
You've got an extra day's rest, an extra day's recuperation before the big game, and
yes,
you're not drinking as much. Probably.
Are you going to do like a post show or something? You know, you're going to meet up after the game and maybe do something.
I know Lolo's going to do that, but I would love to do something like that. Yeah,
you should do something together. So, you know, it's a very rare opportunity to like actually be in the in the same vicinity as each other, man. You know what I'm saying?
True.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think we'll do something. I don't know yet what's planned. I'll meet up with them tomorrow evening. So yeah.
Mr. Tom says, "Yeah, I split them between the first 10 I plan on eating and the last 10 I plan on eating."
Gary, while you're there in London, one thing that you have to do, right? And you may have done it before, I don't know, but you need to go and get yourself a classic doner kebab in the pita bread, right? Not a shawarma, none of that shawarma shit. It has to be a proper, authentic doner kebab with the lamb meat in the open pita bread. It's a little bit of lettuce, some onion in there, but you have to have chili sauce on it.
Ooh.
Yeah,
All right, you're gonna have to
it,
text me that.
and
'Cause I'm
have it
not gonna
after
remember
you.
that.
Maybe get it after the pub on your way home. Trust me, Gary.
Oh.
You won't leave.
Oh, yeah,
You'll
it's
find
gonna
You're
out
not,
what
you're
you
not
leave.
naming any kebab shops for him to go to?
I can't think of any exact ones, but they're everywhere, man. Especially in and around the North London area. There are stones throw from each other, these kebab shops. I'm
Ooh.
sure Mr. Tom
I
can
can
tell
do
you.
that.
But you must try a doner kebab with chili
Doner
sauce,
kebab.
man.
Okay.
Yeah, man. Trust me.
Chili
Gary,
sauce.
how's
Yes,
London,
sir.
BX? BX is asking,
Well,
how's London?
it's actually pretty nice. I mean, like I said, I haven't really got into it yet because I was hanging out with my dad.
Hanging out.
He cooked me some meals. We went out and did a little shopping, and then today we went out for a meal, and then we met up with Mr. Tom, and then eventually we saw Lolo and Mark. So I've actually been chilling, but because Friday, Saturday, and Sunday will be when things happen.
Things moving, yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. Tom said, if I'd known Lolo was going to arrive 37 seconds after the pub shut, I would have just took Gary to a buffet. There you go. All right.
Yeah.
We're going to put you to work now, Gary, a little bit.
Go
Fullback,
Go
what do
ahead.
you want to see for the North London Derby on Saturday?
Well, let's see. It's like who's healthy first? Is Tierney healthy? Is Zinchenko healthy?
Well,
We
let's
know
just say,
Tomiyasu. Is
what's your
Tomiyasu
wish
healthy?
list? What do you want to
Is
see?
Gabriel
Well,
Magalhaes healthy? Because he picked up a
well, no,
knock
we're talking about
over the weekend.
fullbacks. So if we have fullbacks healthy, if they're all healthy, then Tomiyasu should play. Based on what I saw him do against the U.S., he looked good there. So Tomiyasu's on the right. On the left, oof, Zinchenko, I don't think played. Tierney would have been okay if he hadn't got a head injury. So hopefully that's not a big deal since he's had an extra week to get recovered. So
Yeah.
I might have to go with Tierney. Just go right. If we were fully healthy, I would want Tierney and Tomiyasu anyways because they've at least experienced this team before for Arsenal. So they would know what needs to be done. And they're more defensive minded anyway. So that's my fullbacks. I
All
think
right.
they would do a good
Good job.
I think they would do a good job.
I think Alonso disagreed. Went off in a huff.
I guess so.
BX
Damn.
Gary said,
Man,
We
it's
can
like,
now-
I don't want to hear any more of this. I'm gone.
No, fuck that Tomiyasu shit. I'm out of here.
we can now confirm Mr. Tom is indeed a real person, not a hologram.
You know what? That is true. I saw him. The man is short. I saw him. He's tiny. He's tiny.
You put me in the
Tiny
pocket.
little Brett.
he's a tiny
Gary,
wrestler.
Gary was
Oh,
sitting
was
in the pub waiting for him, and this little guy just jumped on his shoulder. It's like, "Hello, Gary. You've been waiting long." Oh,
He's tugging on the bottom of his jacket.
tug you. Hi, Gary.
Mr. Tom, I am not saying I'm not. It's not me. I didn't say any of that. Start with Stan and then go to Ray. Even Tony's not in Bella.
Gary having to like pick him up
embellishing
and
this
put him
thing.
into a bar stool. Here you go.
No, I didn't know. I didn't go there. That's not where Mr. Tom. I am your friend. These guys, I don't know.
Stan, so who do
Yeah.
you want to see? Are we going Tierney and Tomiyasu?
See,
That's
it's
our wish
interesting.
list, right?
It's interesting that we're talking about fullbacks because look what's been happening at the moment with, allegedly one of the best right backs in the country with Trent Alexander and not being able to get into the England team. And I've been listening to a lot of what's been going on. And it was interesting that listening to Dean Saunders, who's probably one of the only people that I enjoy listening to and talk sport, because he seems like a nice bloke. And he's very good at giving you his critical analysis without literally having to slaughter someone. He doesn't have to take people down when he does it. He's quite fair with it. And he said, I want defenders, me personally, to be able to defend first. I know that there is a big trend of playing it out from the back, but I would say to Trent Alexander, someone like him who's going forward a lot, you're great when you're doing that, but you are costing us on the defensive side. And he goes, and I would concentrate on teaching the lad on how to defend. And he said the reason why defenders are defenders is because they're no good. They're not good enough to play in midfield. And he said, I know it might sound a little bit harsh. He goes, but that's the reason. They're not good enough on the ball. So if they're not good enough in midfield, why do you want defenders constantly on the ball from the back? Knock it up, get it out to the channels, and work the ball forward. So I'm a little bit of that thinking. I don't know whether it's my age. I like my defenders and fullbacks to be able to defend first. So for me, I feel that Kieran Tierney is our de facto number one left back. I know that people seem to like Zinchenko. He's a new shiny thing, and he does a lot of good things when he kind of moves up and in a little bit into that midfield. However, first and foremost for me, his job is to build a defense, and I want my defenders to defend. And I think that for me, on that basis, I want to see Kieran Tierney as our number one left back, and I want to continue to see more of Tomiyasu as our right back. I'm not saying that I don't enjoy Ben White playing at right back, but I've had this feeling that since Tomiyasu's been coming back from his fitness and has been he could have been getting more minutes.
Yeah,
his injury taking him out of the team was a good thing for Saliba, because it allowed him to play Saliba straight away from the off and fit Ben White in at right back and not rock the boat. Had Tomiyasu been fit from the off, I don't think Saliba would have started straight away. He would have had to earn it from the bench. And we may not have seen some of the performances that we have seen because of that, right? Now that Tomiyasu's fit, I think that Mikel Arteta has a decision to make, one that he really needs to make. And I think he's hesitating at making it. And he has to make a decision of what his back four really and truly is. And at right back, I think he's scared. He's scared to make a decision, because if he starts putting Tomiyasu in at right back, which is what he was bought for, he's now got a decision to make at centre back. Is he going to leave out his 50 million defender in Ben White and carry on with Saliba? Or is he going to put Ben White in because he's got seniority and rank? It's a big decision to make. It's a tough decision to make. And I'm glad that I'm not having to make it. And I don't know what the answer is, but it needs to be made.
For me, this will show progression from Arteta. And I've always said, for the game, you got to pick your back four for the game, for the challenge ahead. And this is a top 6 team that we're going to face. And I would like to see a dedicated defender, a dedicated right back that can match up with Son much better than Ben White. Ben White's a little bit sneaky in some of the things he does, and Son is definitely going to make those things visible to the referee. Any kind of indiscretion. We know Son is going to play it up a little bit and dive a lot. On the other side, Kieran Tierney has that experience, and he's got that defensive nous that you're talking about. And listen, I think the game has moved on. Fullbacks now do have to move into midfield. The game's moved on from us, our old school thoughts on the defenders defending. So for me, those are the fullbacks that I'd like to see. Tony, what do you want to see?
If I had my druthers, I'd probably go with Zinchenko and Tomiyasu.
Mm-hmm.
But I would just go with whoever's the most fit, who's ready. Because I'd like to see the attacking of Zinchenko and the defensive part of Tomiyasu. But I think we need to go with who's fit, who can hold up for the 90 minutes.
Okay, that was Gary saying, "Hold on a minute, I'll be back."
Let me ask you a question, though, Ray. Right? Let's say, for example, if Tomiyasu gets put back into the team, and that leaves Ben White a little bit hanging in the wind, because I do think that the injury to Tomiyasu allowed Mikel Arteta to keep Ben White in the team.
Yeah, and to slide players around. Yeah,
right? Yeah. But if Tomiyasu comes back into the team, does that mean that Ben White is now on the subs bench and covering for Gabriel, Megalegs, and Saliba? or
Yeah.
would you disrupt the partnership that's already in there and put Ben White back in?
No,
And
for me, yeah, you don't put at stake two positions. You just mess with one position. Put Tomiyasu in there. Ben White can be on the subs bench. That's the move I want to see Arteta make on Saturday, and it's going to tell me a lot in terms of how he sees these challenges, these top 6 challenges.
The other thing it does is as well, if you put Ben White on the bench and make that decision, now you've got 2 players in the team, Saliba and Tomiyasu, that know that if they're not able to supply the goods and they're not able to live up to the manager putting his faith in them, Ben White can come in and take your place.
Yeah, either one. Yep.
And that's what you want. That's a healthy environment.
Definitely. Competition is what we want. Gary, Partey coming back a week early, that's a good thing for Arsenal. Partey makes things work, right?
He does, but the reason why he's coming back isn't what I like to hear. Because it's like that's the the red flag, that's the smoke. If he can't make it through a warm up for Ghana, I don't know how he's gonna play for us. I've already seen him come in iffy into a North London derby. It didn't work. So hopefully that was a blip and not as bad as we think it is, because we can't do this again. In another North London derby, we can't have him coming off injured again. I don't.
Mikel Arteta pushing him back on that, pushing him back on when he was trying to get off, and he was like, "No."
So I am a little concerned. You know what I feared happened. Right? He goes. He can't even start the match. Tierney plays, has a really good, whatever set of it was a really good half or so. Comes out with a head injury. Tomiyasu actually played well and he looked fine, but just Partey was the biggest issue. The biggest player that we have who went away on international duty.
Maybe Odegaard as well, right? Maybe Odegaard.
Well, Odegaard didn't go away, so that's hopefully
he was kind of injured and all, when he played.
He played for Norway.
Both games.
Did
he play for 1 or 2 games?
Both games. He didn't play all of the games.
Oh, he did. I did not know that. See, that's another thing of my problem. How can we have players getting paid millions of dollars to play for Arsenal? This happens at every other team, but specifically at Arsenal, sit on a training table, but immediately it's international break and they're healthy and they play.
He's the captain. He's the Norwegian captain, so it doesn't mean something to him.
It doesn't matter. It's a lot of money that Arsenal's paying. They're paying him more than Norway, for sure. He's on a training table for them, and he's gonna go play North London derby. If he can't play, then it doesn't work.
See, just before you come on, right, Gary, we were talking about, and I found it strange that a player like Tomiyasu, he went away on international duty. He played the first game, and then Arsenal called him back. I didn't think that Arsenal was allowed to do that, to just recall a player in the middle of it. I get it if they get injured and they get sent back again, but we done it with Partey and Tomiyasu, and I mean, great cooperation from the international teams for doing that, but I don't understand the precedent for it, the reasons for it.
Why? Because it's happened too many times at Arsenal, though. That scenario has happened too many times at Arsenal. Player injured, goes on international break and plays, and then sometimes comes back okay, sometimes not. You can't be injured going into an international, before an international break, and then be healthy, ready to go. Because for me, not for this game coming up. This is not necessarily the next biggest game. This is the biggest game we got. We win this one, it puts us in a good position. We lose to Liverpool, it's not as big of an issue. But we got to win this one. You can't go into this match not with your full squad healthy. So for me, we win this one. It sets us up much better for an October that's going to be madness, right? We play three of the top 6 teams, the big 6 as they call it.
Well, we're not having that City game.
No, but we're playing Liverpool and Chelsea and that team. So it's 3, right?
Chelsea in November. But yeah, I think.
Oh, Chelsea's in November. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yep.
So in 6 weeks, we play three of the top. We play
Yep.
three of the top 6 teams.
It's going to
But
tell a lot.
we
It's
got
going
to
to tell
win
a lot.
this one. I don't because the other two aren't as big for me right now. Because those teams are how many points away from us? Like Liverpool's 9 points behind us. This
Yeah, what's
team
that game at
that we're
hand?
playing is 1 point behind us.
Mm-hmm.
Right? A draw is the worst thing that should happen to us, and the only way to guarantee that is to have a healthy squad. So,
Or else
Is Gary
Southampton.
riding his Pelotron? Did he take it to
No, he's not.
London? His
He
camera's
has.
bouncing up and down.
With his hand luggage.
He's holding it. Arol, good to see you back. Ben White has been
Yeah.
training through the break with Arteta, who will not put Tomiyasu straight back in. Listen, I feel like he might do that, and I think that's the right move to do it. But all of these things have to be taken into account in terms of fitness. Tony has reminded me Eddie and Ketty is also great. Gary, stay off the beans. Don't eat the beans for breakfast, Gary.
I like beans. My dad makes beans. He makes
Beans
me
on toast. Can't beat it.
I have beans. I've had beans the last 2 days. I'm good.
So here's the question, Tony BX. And I kind of maybe agree with this. Both games are important, Tony. I want to agree, but we need to beat Liverpool to be taken seriously.
Not
That
really, not
means
this
nothing. We're
Liverpool
9
team.
points ahead of them. We're 9 points ahead of them. 9 points ahead of Liverpool.
They have a game in hand as well.
9 points ahead of Liverpool as we stand. Right? We lose on the weekend. We're 2 points behind that team. That's sad. Don't like it.
Yeah.
And every other team plays after that. So
I-
we're
I
the
put-
first game
I
out.
put it this way: we still need all the points we can before the World Cup
Yeah.
starts.
See,
I
look,
think what BX Gunner is saying, the Liverpool game for credibility and for us to be taken seriously in these big games, the Liverpool game's important.
What do you think Saturday's game is? If you lose that one, it doesn't really matter. You've lost the first two big games you've had in the season. We have to break that. And the only way to break that is to win the next one.
Agree.
look, here's the deal, right? BX Gunner's right. I get what he's saying about, credential-wise, to beat Liverpool. However, I just think that where we are with the yellow card with Jesus, he's definitely going to pick one up in the North London derby. So that needs to be offset by him scoring a couple of goals and us absolutely beating Spurs, so that we know that when we go into that Liverpool game, we're going to be without Gabriel Jesus. I really feel that. We'll probably have Eddie in there, and then we have to make sure that we go in there with a bit of a cushion and try and at least get a draw. If Gabriel Jesus was in that precarious position, and all being well, he's fit and he plays in both games, then we've got an opportunity to really show what we've got. But we've got to meter this one out because he's going to get a yellow card for sure. And I don't think Eddie's got it to jump in and replicate that. So it's going to be a different mindset for Liverpool. Maybe a different formation to cope with that, so that we don't get humbled or embarrassed, but we can try and carve something out of the game. Therefore, this Tottenham game for me they have to smash them. We have to, if Gabriel can't play in Liverpool, get the goals in the Tottenham game that you would get maybe spread over 2 games. Make up for it.
Yeah. So listen, this is going to be the hunt for Red October. Arsenal need to pile up points, and in October we're going to have 5 Premier League games, as Gary alluded to some of them already. But it's going to be a difficult month. We got 4 Europa League games coming up as well. A steady diet of Bodo and PSV. But Stan, all of the other teams that are in contention, Liverpool, they need to get back on track in their Champions League quest, and that's going to be important to them. They need to beat Brighton to get back into the league, and maybe this is a good game. This is a good time to be playing Liverpool as well, just looking ahead.
Well, yeah, I mean, they're really suffering this season. I mean, I don't really know why. I don't really analyse Liverpool that much, but it seems that since they've got rid of Mane, it's upset the apple cart or the balance or something. I don't know. Maybe he was that key for them, it probably seems. I don't know. Maybe they've got some players in the midfield that should have been moved on and replaced for maybe some younger models, and they've taken too long. I don't know, but you're definitely right, Ray. If we're going to play them, I think that we could be good for a draw. And I think that would be, if we can smash Tottenham and get 3 points at Tottenham and get a point from Liverpool, I think that would be tidy business.
It wouldn't be bad. Wouldn't be bad at all. Tony, Manchester City have in North London have their own derby as well. They play United. But Arsenal play Tottenham on Saturday. We need to, as Gary said, we need to win that game, get 3 points up on City, and put some pressure on them for Sunday.
Yeah, we just need to worry about winning our games and not really caring what anybody else is doing. Just go about, do our business week to week, and pick up as many points as we can.
Mr. Tom said, he literally said that on this show last week, Tony.
Well, I was not here last week, so.
Nelson will be a dark horse to make an impact this season. So, Gary, that's important now. Emile Smith-Rowe, listen, all clubs get injuries. Emile Smith-Rowe is going to be out till the new year now, Gary.
Yeah. I mean, it is like you said. We've been asking for Nelson to show up, right? He's got an opportunity now, most likely. Otherwise, January is going to be really busy for us. He looks. I mean, of course, he always looks like he's ready to go, but we'll see what we get from him when this Europa League comes about. But if he gets to play, but yeah, no. Emile Smith-Rowe being out, I don't know if you guys talked about that. It's sad to hear that he's injured again and will be out for extended time, more than just a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Does it matter?
Well, it does matter because if he was
He's only
healthy,
played 45 minutes all season.
Yeah, but he would have been a player who would have been pushing forward and getting
the man
fitness
scored
and
10
building
goals for us
minutes.
last season, right? Did he score 10 goals for us last season?
Yeah, but Arteta went
did.
out and got a replacement for him in Teabag.
No, not for him. He's gonna. We think he's gonna play? I don't think so because he always came in and played on the wing anyway.
He would have been probably taking some minutes from Martinelli, or at least getting a steady diet of Europa League football this side of the
He
World Cup.
definitely. I mean, I would have liked him to be considered an Odegaard, replacement, but he's not done that, right?
Yep.
So, I don't know. When he's come in and shown us stuff, it wasn't necessarily being that creator that we're talking about. Odegaard doing and Fabio doing and scoring from that part of that position on the pitch, or attempting to score from that position on the pitch. He just doesn't do that. So no, it's not good for him. I think. Hopefully he comes back stronger in January. But yeah, it's not. It sucks. It really sucks. There was something I wanted to say, but I forget. You guys were just talking about. What did Jake's gonna talk about just briefly? What was that? Do you remember?
Nelson would be surprised. Listen, probably this part was Jesus needs to flip the script and draw yellows. When he played against Arsenal, he drew yellows from us. He got Gabriel sent off on New Year's Day. So instead of fouling people, he can be fouled and draw yellows from Tottenham.
Yeah, or just or score the 3 goals that we've been hoping for. Get that hat trick.
Yeah.
Right?
ESR needs to recover from this, or we need to cut him. Unfortunately, another club, different grounds may prove we're saving.
May I ask a question? I have a question. If you had the choice of either getting 3 points at Liverpool against Tottenham, and beating Tottenham, and then getting a draw against Liverpool, or vice versa, drawing against Spurs, which would probably be no fun for Gary flying all the way over for a draw, but getting 3 points, what would you rather have? I'd rather smash Tottenham and get the draw against Liverpool if I had that choice. You can only have one win. Really? Why? For what reason?
Why, Ray?
Yeah, for what reason?
We haven't beaten Liverpool in 10 games, something like that. We haven't scored.
Well, we haven't fucking finished ahead of Spurs for 7 fucking years.
So a draw wouldn't be the worst result, would it, Tony? But to beat Liverpool,
we want to finish ahead of that team?
To beat Liverpool would show progression that we're able to beat a top.
Liverpool isn't good this season, Ray. So how's it progressing?
We cannot draw to that team at home because think about this. the home team usually wins, right?
Mhm.
We can't. If we're talking about progression, we can't lose at home to this team.
Nobody's talking about losing.
We can't drop points.
We're losing
at
2
home to
points,
this
Ray.
team,
Let's lose it.
Yeah,
right?
but would
You just
would
talked
you
about
take
progression at Liverpool.
Gary?
It's the same thing at home against this squad.
Would you take 4 points from these two games right now?
Yeah.
I would take beating that team
Yeah, and
over.
then it's all.
If I had a choice, if
I
I had a
would
choice,
take
we beat this team.
I would take 3 points
On
from
Saturday.
Liverpool, and I would handle a draw if it was one of those games where it was a tight game, hard fought. A couple of opportunities, just didn't get, a couple of decisions, but it was a hard fought. I'd rather have that than drawing with Spurs, and because they'll treat it like a win. They will treat the draw like a win, and it won't seem like we've made any progress. And then we beat Liverpool, and it will be like, yeah, you beat Liverpool, but they're a subpar Liverpool team.
They're going to say
So,
that.
any
irrespective.
credentials that we tried to earn by beating Liverpool would be taken away from us because we're beating a subpar Liverpool now.
They
Just
finished
don't get
second
that.
last season. Stan, they finished second last season.
That was
Right
last
now,
season.
they're the second best team in the league right now.
Not right now.
Based
Coming into
on,
the
based
season,
on
they
their
were.
finish last season.
Coming into the season, they were the number 2 team, but right now, no.
Okay. All right,
Not
Not
Gary.
right now.
Let
We
me
had a
let me say.
76% chance twice to come in fourth
All right,
last year.
hold on.
We didn't do it.
I've got a question for Gary then. Is it not a scalp to beat Manchester City right now this season? If you beat Manchester City, you say you've beaten the champions, but you can't say you've beaten the second place team if you beat Liverpool.
But they're not. I just told you they are 9 points behind us. City is 1 point behind us with the best.
You're missing.
He's not even playing at full tilt yet.
Ray, we know
Harlan,
you have a hard
when-
on for Ray.
Harlan, when he
Team
starts
red,
going,
Gonna
it'd
mute
be
you.
hard for us to keep up.
I
They
just
are
want
1 point behind us. They are not 9.
Okay, but
We don't have to compare ourselves to Liverpool all the time,
Here's
Ray.
the problem
Move
I
on.
have. If somebody beats Manchester City, they say they beat the champions. But if somebody beats Liverpool, they can't say they've beaten the second best team in the league.
They're
We
not the
can't
second
lose.
best team
We
in the
can't
league.
lose. We can't lose the North London Derby. For me, I don't feel we
Is it-
can.
I just find
I
that
think it's.
if we lose, if we lose or draw the North London derby, we need to shut them up. That needs to be closed down and then onto business, And I wouldn't mind it being a hard fought game
I'd
against
rather
Liverpool.
shut up the Liverpool fans right now.
That means nothing.
Why
right
do you
now,
always
Squad.
worry about Liverpool, Ray?
I'm not worried.
It's a
They're
game.
benchmark.
He
They're
said
the
their
benchmark.
midfield's hampered.
Look,
He
there.
said they'd struggle. Now they're struggling. Now you want to beat
BX
them
is
over
right.
the
They're the
Spurs.
benchmark. We want to take
They're
their
not
place.
the benchmark.
They are.
Man City's
Don't
the
we need a
benchmark.
redemption? Don't we need redemption from the last time we played that squad?
Which one?
They took 4th place from us the last time we played them. Took it.
How many titles has City
Gary,
won in
Gary,
the last 4
and
seasons?
Gary.
We've been talking about all these redemption stories this year. We have another. This is one coming up. I'm not even looking at Liverpool right now. That's why we got to win this one.
I
I
just
want
don't.
3 points going
Right.
into the Liverpool match. I
I
don't
just-
want. We had a hard-fought draw. Nah.
Stan, you really picked a good question.
I just don't see us like drawing against Spurs and Gabriel Jesus getting booked in that game and then going away to Anfield and picking up 3
Home.
points. I just don't see it happening. So
They're
I just
both
feel that
home.
we have to go, oh, okay, at home then. I still don't see it. I think that we have to go all out in this game to make sure that we get everything that we can. And even if Gabriel Jesus is missing, we've done that. We've got 3 points. 3 points. I'd rather get that than two draws.
Yep.
2 draws,
look,
you know what I mean? And then
you're
Gabriel Jesus is missing for the next game. We're going in there
Right.
on the back of a draw. We walk away with 2 points instead of 4. Yes, we
And I
want
think-
6. We want 6, but I think 4. I think 4 would be tidy.
And I think you're right, Stan. The narrative will be, even if we beat Liverpool, the narrative will be they're not the same team they were last year.
exactly.
But you have
So
to
take it
start
away from us.
assuming- You have to assume the second position. You have to go and get it. If you want to be second, Liverpool's the team you've got to beat.
We are beating them. We're higher than them in the league. The benchmark,
Yeah.
if you want to use the word benchmark, the benchmark in at the moment in this league is Man City, right? That's the benchmark. You know, Liverpool
Yeah.
were the second best team, but that's the key word in that sentence is they were. Now it's open. If Man
Does
City were,
anybody care who
Man,
the
if
runner
Man
up was
City were,
last
if
season?
Man City were below us, then it'd be all. You know, it's wide open. But Man City are continuing to maintain their stranglehold, whereas Liverpool ain't. It's wide open, I think.
Look at this. A rule. I just like to find people who agree with me. You know, a rule.
Yeah, I know you conveniently ignored
So
me.
you're saying if we drop points to City at home, not City, that team at home, that's okay.
You don't want to win a fucking derby. That's your rival. Liverpool
Stan,
isn't your
Stan
rival.
asked me a question. I answered.
No, I'm
because I
asking you,
believe-
Ray. You drop points at home to a team that took your fourth place last season. No, so you didn't redeem yourself from the last time you played, because we did that. We've done that so far this
But
season, except for one,
here's
Old
what
Trafford, which everybody went in and said that's a bogey team, anyways. But Crystal Palace, we did it. Brentford, we said, you know what, we did it. All these redemption stories, but all of a sudden now we're playing our biggest rival, and you're okay to drop points against them
But Liverpool
because we
will
have
be bigger.
Liverpool in the next game.
Liverpool would be a bigger scalp.
You drop points to that team, you're okay with that. You said that. You're saying that as an Arsenal fan with your shirt on.
Because I'm looking at Liverpool. I'm not looking at Tottenham.
We have to play
Why
them
not? They
next.
finished ahead of you for
You
6
can't
straight
go into that
seasons. It'd
game
be
with a
7
loss.
if we don't
It's not the
win.
same with Liverpool, is it?
All right,
It's
let me
not the
ask you
same.
one question then. Is Tottenham better than Liverpool?
Yes.
Is Tottenham a better team than Liverpool?
Yeah.
Right now
yeah.
they are, because they're higher than them in the league. The league doesn't lie. You know.
So if you beat them, that shows progression because now you're being a team that is competing for a position you want.
It's
Liverpool
like
isn't there yet.
that season, Newcastle came second, and they were playing that fantastic football. You remember under Kevin Keegan, but they came second. They weren't the better team. The better team was the team that won the league. You know, they might have played less, flared football, jumping you off your seat, but they had what it took to win the trophy. Therefore, they're the better team.
I've
And
got
Liverpool aren't that team anymore, right? The Man
Yeah.
City are still
Yeah.
doing it.
Tony thinks I'm obsessed with Liverpool. I'd be just
You are a
You
little
are.
bit.
You mentioned
You are.
fucking
You
time.
are. I agree with him. You are.
Because
You are.
I've
You're obsessed with Liverpool and Ivan Toney.
here's the
I've noticed
thing.
it.
You forgot his biggest one, Stan.
Tillmans.
Yuri. He has a hard
Tillmans.
on for Yuri.
I thought that was me
All
in the
right.
coaching badges.
Here's the thing. I've watched
Hey,
Liverpool.
Stan, did you see who's gaining coaches
God.
and badges with the youngest player ever to play in the Premier League?
Say again. Who was that?
Granit Xhaka. He's been
Yeah.
leading the youngest player ever in the Premier League.
All right,
He's
so
been training him or earning coaching badges.
Here's the
I
thing
don't
about
get it.
Liverpool. Here's the thing about Liverpool. We can do what Liverpool have done if we do things right. Liverpool
Come a
have done it.
second.
Liverpool have done it right over the last 5 or 6 years. But now I've seen they've faltered a little bit. They've spent more money than they have been comfortable spending in previous years on Deuce and what's his name, Darwin, and they
Nunez.
didn't address
Right,
midfield.
right. All Liverpool have done is come in second place. I want to finish above City in the table and win the championship. We shouldn't have to come in second place. Liverpool is second
finished.
place.
They won the league. They beat City.
That's right. Yeah.
in
But
the
that's
last-
one out of 5 years. We need to be on top every year of the table, not
And you
just
know
second
what?
place and one every so often.
City are that good that we will be lucky to be above them 1 year, 1 season in the next.
But back to what you guys were saying, I think that City is also a different game because we almost beat them. If it wasn't for stupid Megalish and Granit Xhaka's fouls there, but
Yeah.
so we have a lot of games to look forward to, and hopefully we could beat them because that will show a lot of class and character, and it will prove on why we're on top of the league when we play them. So hopefully we could beat Tottenham and Liverpool, but I think Tottenham we need to beat pretty bad, and hopefully go for 6 points against Liverpool as well. But I hope that Gabriel Jesus is smart in this game where he doesn't pick up a foul, and hopefully he can play against Liverpool because we're gonna need him. Because Eddie Nketiah has shown that he is not capable of leading the line.
I'm more worried about the other Gabriel for me, Magalhaes up
Right.
against Harry Kane.
Like I said earlier, I
Why?
think I'm more worried about the fullbacks. I'm more worried about the center backs than the fullbacks. Because we all know that Saliba is still young to the Premier League, and also Magalhaes loses his mind mistakes.
Yeah, that's it. That's what Alonso just said. He loses his mind in key moments. The next player after Rob Holding, I'm looking at in our squad, could be Gabriel Magalhaes.
So let me
Yeah.
ask a question on that, Ray. Right?
Vieira did that. You have all kinds of. Adams did that. Lose our head when they're young. He's still young. It's that time.
I want to ask you something there,
That's
then, Ray.
okay.
Right? Would you put Tomiyasu in and have a central pairing then of Ben White and Saliba and take out Magalhaes?
No, I still
I
Gabriel.
would.
For all his faults, Gabriel is still a better defender
Okay.
than the left centre back, and he's likely to get us a goal as well. You know what I mean?
Okay.
You want 2 brick shit houses in there.
Yeah. Wait till Darwin settles. So yeah, Alonso, what do you want? You're getting 4 points from Tottenham and Liverpool. Where's the win coming from?
Both of them.
No, you're getting 4 points. Where's your win
They have
coming
one
from?
winner.
I'm winning against Tottenham, of course, because if we win this game, right, we are still top of the league, and if we lose draw against Liverpool, then it'd be okay because we're still top of the league, I think. Whereas we're getting through this test now, where City has to play them, and let's not forget, City beat Liverpool by 2 points, right? In the last year, so they want to win. They want to beat City just as bad as anyone else. Tottenham, I hate them so much. So winning this game would mean a world to I think every Arsenal fan, except for you, Ray. You want the point, right? And you want the draw.
I'm tired of Liverpool fans laughing at us, thinking they have to just bring on Diego Jota and they can beat us. You know what I mean?
That's what happens when you don't mark around and play defense.
Ray, I'm sending you to counseling.
Tony said Liverpool sold a player for a Queen's ransom and spent that money well.
I was just about to say, Tony, I think you'll now find that the term is a king's ransom.
Yeah, but I use Queens on purpose.
Things are changing.
What's crazy is that Klopp completed the trophy cycle with Liverpool in 6 years. Had he done that with most other teams, he'd be God. But Liverpool are the most decorated team in England.
So do they actually consider him king when he hasn't been?
You wouldn't let it lie, would you? You wouldn't let it.
But when he hasn't had his coronation, is he king in waiting? It can't be king when you're not coronated.
You are. No, you're the king as soon as he had the proclamation. They had a proclamation just after she died, where they read it out in St. James's Square, the palace, and from that moment on, he's the king, even though he's not been coronated, crowned, whatever you want to call it, but he is now the king.
How can you be a king without a crown?
Well, he kind of has. They've just not done the actual ceremony. Technically, he's still in a period of mourning, right? So you're looking at around about maybe 6 months.
Dan, you're talking to Tony. Dan, you're talking to Tony.
Tony, it's like Manchester City.
I understand it. I'm just trying to say how stupid the
anyway,
process is.
We've turned into like the history channel.
Why do you have to wait 6 months to a year?
Welcome to this week's episode of Monarchy.
Yeah.
With your host, Dan the Man. Hello there. Right, let's go back to Arsenal and the North London derby and get away from fucking the crown. All right?
Fucking the crown.
Gary's like, I didn't fucking stay up late for this shit.
I know, we're talking about and you're talking to Tony like he's going to actually absorb it and go.
I know. And see what I did? I fell for it. He sucked me in. I just fell right into it.
Then you Tony better influence.
I thought we were backstage for a minute. It was like he sucked me in.
Be nice, Dan. I'll cancel the food.
Ray's sitting there thinking, I ain't paying you lot for this shit.
I heard about that FUBU. I heard about that.
I ain't paying you for this shit. You talked about Arsenal.
Yeah, there's no blue M&Ms. There's no blue M&Ms.
Right, we digressed. Where were we?
Right.
North London derby.
What do you want to talk about next? I mean,
pop music. Sorry.
You want to do predictions next? Do you have anything more to say about the game?
We're not doing any of the rest of the lineup. We're just going to do the full
Ray is wrong. That's all I want to say.
Gary just wants to have a transatlantic fight with me.
Yes. So right.
Has Gary fallen asleep? No.
So let me ask you another thing then, right? I think in order for us to
It's not true, Tony.
get something out of this game, where do you think that where do you think the key area is for Arsenal in this game? For me, I think the midfield needs to be the battle that needs to be won, because if you can cut Son off and you can cut off Harry Kane, then invariably Kane's always going to try and come deep to try and find the ball. And if he comes deep to find the ball, he's further away from the goal. You want to get him where he's at the stage where he's like, well, it ain't fucking happy. It's not coming to me, so I'm going to go to it. You know what Lacazette used to do. And then we've kind of nullified it. I don't know what you guys think, but I think that the midfield is going to be key.
Midfield is going to be key.
That's why Partey is an issue. That's why I didn't want him to go away. And
is he fit, Gary, though? Is he fit for selection or not? What do you reckon?
he was. They showed him practicing, so I'm hoping that means he was.
I'd say he's good to go, Stan.
I'm not sure he's been fit the entire time he's been with us.
So
Yeah.
I'm gonna put up I'm gonna share a screen with a graphic of something so you guys can keep talking. But I think
Saka as well looks like he's finding a bit. Sorry, you said to keep talking.
Yeah, keep talking. Go ahead.
So I'm straight in there.
You know what? Saka did look really good in the game when he came in for. He saved Southgate's job, which I'm disappointed in. But he looked really good doing what he's doing,
and he looked good for us, didn't he? He looked good for us in the game before, Gary. He looked good
How
for
the
us.
fuck are we supposed to read that, Ray?
Wow, is that Bletchley Park Codebreakers?
Can you not read it? I can zoom in. I can zoom in for you.
What are we doing here? Ray, you spent too much time.
Spreadsheet.
I need big numbers, and I need no more than 6 numbers. You've got 30, 40, 50, 100 numbers on this page.
Technology's not my big point, Gary.
Apparently it is. He did a fucking huge spreadsheet.
You created a spreadsheet, dude. You're right. You got technology down.
Did you create this, Ray?
Yeah, I did. So
first of all, I'd like to applaud you. The second thing is I'd like to ask why. Fair play. What is it?
Okay, hold on. It's my foray into technology.
I can just imagine it in your household. Ray, come on, come to bed. No, I'm just updating my spreadsheet.
All right, so these
write the show's description like you did this week.
Are you ready?
Fucking a monologue.
This is Arsenal's 7 games so far, and the question has gone out. Arsenal haven't played anyone. Well, we're going to look at City and we're going to look at.
Play one for 7 matches. What do we do? Play ourselves?
We're going to play it.
We play
we're going to
people.
look at City. We're going to look at Tottenham. We're going to look at Liverpool. Now, look down here. You see the shots. 116. Arsenal have had 116 shots. Shots on target accuracy. That's shots on target accuracy, 36.2%. And the efficiency here is converting those shots on target to goals, 40.47%. Okay.
Is that good or bad?
When I'm going to compare it to other teams now, so we're going to look at Tottenham, right? I'm going to try and keep it so that you can see this, okay? So,
I see what you've done.
Tottenham
you're a little clever guy, ain't you? Look at all this he's done here. Look at all this.
Tottenham have been more accurate in terms of their shot on target accuracy, but you see their efficiency, shot on target to goals, has been less. 37.5%. So basically, they're not converting the amount of shots they have on target. 48 shots on target with 18 goals. We've had 42 shots on target with 17 goals. So we've been slightly more efficient than Tottenham. The key factor for me to look at is the possession. We know Tottenham, right, to play counter-attack. They've only actually topped the possession charts in 3 games. That was against Southampton at home, West Ham away from home at 62%, and Fulham at 52%. They've lived off of Son and Kane. So any comments? Anyone want to throw anything in there? And you
They
see
suck. Move on.
the average league position as well, 11.85 for Arsenal versus 14.42 for Tottenham. That means we've actually our schedule has been stronger than theirs in theory. Now I'm going to go over to Liverpool and
You
City.
should know. You should
Of
rename this.
course you're
You should
going to
rename this
Liverpool.
episode XL Fan Circle.
So, yeah, exactly. Let's look at City now, okay? City's the benchmark, right? So their shots on target accuracy is 37.3%. Look at the efficiency. You got Haaland in there. They're converting over half of their shots on target
Look at
into
their
goals.
goal differential.
Yep, 52.27%. And look, 23 goals for, 6 against. Almost half of those goals. How many has Haaland scored now? 10 or 12 goals?
It's 11 or something like that. Yeah, 11 goals, I think.
Their possession stats average at 70.7%. So, Arsenal want to do what Chelsea are doing. So, our possession has gotten
Scroll over to the
progressively.
right so we can see the average position. The average,
Plus, you're talking, when you talk about Man City, you're talking about a team that's got a lot more experience of each other and is a very well-oiled machine.
So, exactly. So that's a good point, Gary. Average position, you see ours is 11.85 and theirs City is 15.228. So they've actually played weaker teams than we have. But the narrative is Arsenal haven't played anyone. Well, City haven't really played anyone either, right? Looking at all those teams and their positions in the league, 18th, 12th, 10th. They haven't actually played anyone above 10th place right now. And Newcastle was that game. So City haven't really played anyone in the top half of the table, but yet they've dropped some points.
Can I intervene there? When you say,
Yeah.
this team hasn't played anybody and that team hasn't played anybody,
It's been 7 games, yeah.
I mean, you have to look at, for example, I'm going to use Fulham as an example. Is Fulham counted as anybody? They're not anybody, right? But they
No,
managed
they're
to
in
take,
6th place.
in your previous argument, and some others in the chat box who were using Liverpool as a benchmark, being the second best team out there, and Fulham dealt with them. So then, you know what I mean? I understand that there are stats, but sometimes it isn't quite that simple, because if you want to simplify, you could say, well, at the moment, Fulham is a better team than Liverpool. Why? Because they beat them. And we're actually a better team than Liverpool and Fulham. Why? Because we beat Fulham and Fulham beat Liverpool. But that is this really, really homogenized way of trying to quantify who's where in the pecking order.
Yeah.
People do have off days, right? And I there's no way that at the end of the day, I mean, where's Fulham in the league? Where's Liverpool in the league?
Fulham are 6th. So listen,
how long is that going to stay like that?
Ray, what took you longer, doing the spreadsheet or the show description for tonight?
I'll leave you.
It's like when we look at games coming up and you ask us for our match predictions, and one of us will always say, well, on paper, but it's not played on paper, is it?
No.
Sometimes players don't turn up. They get it wrong. They get overwhelmed by a team that they should be beating, and they find them out and they squeeze out a win.
But also,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, these things speak to the teams that Liverpool are played. Liverpool have a tough start to the season. They haven't gotten the points that they needed, but they played Fulham, who are in 6th place right now. Man United, who are in 5th.
Did Fulham beat Liverpool? Or was it a draw?
Draw 2-2.
Okay, a draw. Okay,
yeah.
But they were kind of okay. But they were strong for it, right?
So you see, 10.33 is the average. Liverpool have actually had the toughest of the 4. The toughest fixtures of the 4 based on the league standings that it is right now.
Of course they have, Ray. Of course they have.
What does that mean? What does that mean? 1 Ray, Tony, 2? It doesn't mean anything. They're 9 points behind us. 9.
Yeah.
Not 1. 9.
Ray's,
so
the only good point is Ray's obsessed with Liverpool.
Oh, Gary, you can see that their efficiency is 33% shot on target accuracy, and goals to shots on target is 38.4. So it's They're a little bit better than Tottenham right now, but they haven't been as good as Arsenal. So
But
basically,
if we beat that team on Saturday
mhm.
at 12:30 or by 2 p.m., we'll be 12 points ahead of Liverpool, and it won't matter what they do that day,
Yeah.
that weekend.
Are we
So
done with
for
the
me,
spreadsheet now, Ray?
I'd rather be
Yay.
12 points ahead of them than 10. Just
Yeah.
me.
So listen, it was just a little bit of a graphic to, like you said, Stan, highlight what we may already know. Liverpool have struggled to convert their chances into goals. City have not. They've been efficient, scoring over half of their shots on target, 52%. That's a pretty high percentage. But the stats that I show Arsenal at say that we've been playing pretty well, and the narrative is we haven't played anyone. We haven't, but anyway.
You know what? That's just whatever the talk that Arsenal. It's just they hate us because they hate us. I keep saying that.
They can only do it for so long, right?
You win 6 out of 7. Well, you didn't play anybody. Well, 6 out of 7. Who's won 6 out of 7? No one. No one.
Yeah.
We win 7 out of 8. Guess what? No one will have won that either. So it doesn't matter who wins whatever games this weekend. If we win, we'll be ahead of everybody still. And as long as we can continue to do that, I'll be happy. I think so.
And at some point, we're going to reach a point in the season where we would have played each team at least once. Then what's their argument going to be then? At that point, when we've played at least one team once this season, you play them twice. Now what? They're running out of excuses.
Yeah.
And saying that, oh, we haven't played anyone yet. As a manager, again, I would be using that as ammunition. Look what they're saying about us. They're acting like we go out there and there's no team that we're playing against, and we're just kicking the ball into an empty net. Teams can beat other teams, and I think to say that we haven't played anyone yet is a little bit disrespectful to some of those other teams.
Yeah,
those other teams, a Bournemouth, can be a bad team that's come up from a lower league, but they have it in them to 1 week go out and cause a bigger team problems, cause them problems. So it's disrespectful to them, but suck it up. I say suck it up, use it as ammunition, because soon enough we'd have played everybody once. And let's see where we are in the league then, and let's see what their excuses are then when we're still in the top 4.
And actually, some people will say after 10 games, you get a really good picture of where you are in the season. And we're 3 games from that right now. This North London derby.
That's not going to be true this season.
Yeah, it is.
North London derby counts. Everything counts, Tony. It will be true this season.
No, it won't.
What are you talking about?
You're going to have super congested fixtures.
We have 21 points. We have 21 points out of the first 8 games.
How many times have we had a World Cup in the middle of the season?
It doesn't matter now.
Yeah, it does matter.
I'd rather get all the points now than worry about what happens in January and December when we get there. But let's get all the points we can now. Because I can't look forward anymore that far ahead because we don't know how those 6 weeks off is going to matter. But I'll take all the points we can get today.
And look, Gary,
you're
exactly right, Gary. We are in a position that we hope to be in. We've taken advantage of the start that we had, be it if they say it's weaker, but we've beaten Palace away from home. We had a tough game against Fulham. Fulham are giving tough games to everyone. And, you went away to Brentford as well, a tricky game as well. And we're playing from a position of strength right now toward the top of the table. And we need to keep going this way. There are other teams behind us who are struggling. Liverpool are struggling. Man United are winning games in a counter-attacking fashion. I don't know if that's sustainable as well. Teams are going to figure out what Ten Hag is doing as well. I don't see Man United continuing, but I do hope on Sunday, Alonso, that Man United take points off City.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Even a draw would work out too. But yeah, looking here, what you guys have been saying. I think this game will be won in midfield. I think we already know what Saka and Martinelli bring, as well as Gabriel Jesus. So I think they're gonna have a tough time with our forwards going forward. They struggle for them to defend. They're gonna give up goals in this game, of course. So yeah, like I said, I think Party's gonna have a good game, and hopefully he could sustain, Tottenham's midfield as well as Xhaka and Odegaard. Um, Zaka, Xhaka
Xhaka.
is gonna he's gonna have to be mobile in this game and more faster.
Yeah.
He needs to play well. He's been pretty much offensive this year, so hopefully he can keep that up and have some bags in his tricks in his bag, and yeah, we'll see what happens. I think Party's healthy this time around, so there's no reason why he should be able to sustain that force that's with him, and how that spine we've been talking about throughout these years that we've been lacking, and hopefully it works this time around.
Okay, I think we should get into predictions, right? Unless anyone else got anything else to say about the Northland Derby. Great points about Granit Xhaka. We do fear this could be the game where he picks up a yellow card, but let's.
Well, before we move on to predictions, I would like to
Somebody's
ask.
getting yellow cards.
He doesn't get yellow cards, right?
Before we move on to predictions, though, I would like to ask, and the chat box as well. I love this fixture. It's a glorious fixture, Arsenal v Tottenham, home or away. So I just wondered if anyone has any great memories, maybe matches you've attended, ones that you really remember. And I'm asking the question, but I'm the worst person to ask because no, I tell you why I'm the worst to ask, because I'm one of those that I don't remember scores and that one in 1983 when it was 3-2 and blah blah blah. Do you know what I'm getting at? I'm not good for that.
I remember.
Not like Ryan.
My memory is. My memory. I went to a few in Highbury. I went to quite a few in Highbury, and I always used to sit lower North Bank behind our goal, sort of like about 6 rows back. Was always where my source when I used to be able to buy tickets without having a season ticket. Always sat there, and I've seen a few. And I can remember the one I remember was in particular with David Seaman in goal, and I'd never really heard David Seaman speak before, and I remember I think it was Teddy Sheringham had taken a shot at goal, and it just whizzed by the post, and we were all like, "Fucking hell!" And David Seaman just turned around and looked at us with this big smile on his face, and he just went in this big northern accent. He went, "That was close, wasn't it?" And it just surprised me hearing this big Yorkshire voice sort of thing, like the way he said it and he was. I remember that, but the one that I remember the most was because it was my last Arsenal match before when I was still living in Holland for my 50th. My missus, she set it all up and I went over there, had a surprise birthday. Yeah, the 4-2 under Emery is my last memory of Emery's last memory. Oh, I was doing a rap there. But that's my last sort of memory, my last Arsenal match. I was lucky enough that it was a North London derby. Yeah. Also, it was my missus's first ever game. She'd never been to an Arsenal match before. I don't think she'd been to a soccer match before. And when we got there, where we were sitting, and I think it was the West stand, I think it might have been upper. It's either West or East. I think it was the West, upper. And we obviously got the tickets for a mate of mine. And we were sitting in somebody else's seats. So for whatever reason, they decided that they weren't going to that match. And it cost us a pretty penny, don't get me wrong, for them tickets. But we're sitting there and we've got people either side of us that they obviously know everybody. And now they've got these two strangers in the middle of them. So, in the beginning of the match, they're like talking across us and blah, blah, blah. But you know the way that match went. By the end of that match, they were hugging us. They were kissing my missus on her cheek, wishing her a happy Christmas because it was November. Great experience, and that match had everything, didn't it? And
Aubameyang had Lacazette scoring, it had Torreira scoring.
The Torreira goal was magnificent.
Had like a bit of a dust up with Lichtsteiner getting involved on the sideline.
But just to finish off, my prediction, how I always want a North London derby to go is, I want Tottenham to score first. And I love it when you see them score first and they're giving it loads and they're in there shouting and that in their little section. And then I want Arsenal to come back and equalise, right? And then you see it crush them a little bit. And there's still a bit in the game. And it moves into the second half, right? It goes into half-time at 1-1. And you get into the second half and they come out again, right? And we score first. So it's now 2-1 to us. Do you know what I mean? But then they come back and they score to make it 2-2. And they're like, yeah, man, we're really going to do it now. It's 2-2. And what happens in the last 9 minutes?
Are you going for a fucking 5-4 game,
No,
Stan?
in the last 9 minutes, we scored that third goal in like the 92nd minute, that third goal. And you just see that you can pause the screen and see the moment that their fucking souls leave their fucking bodies as they just give up everything. A 3-2 or a 4-2, but in that way, you let them get ahead and you let them equalize and you give them the hope.
Yeah, the hope.
And you just fucking smash it out of them. Yeah.
I know Gary doesn't want it to go that way. Most likely. Alonso?
Gary might have a heart attack.
I remember
Gary might not make it back to the States if that happens.
I didn't talk on any good. All right, so here it is. You guys remember, right? Whenever Adriard, he's high tackled Kazola, right? And Adriard got early carded, and we just tore him up that way. And I remember that same game, big Permata soccer, right? He's going off the header. That was brilliant, man.
Big pair.
And then they won, was it 5-2, right? 4-2? When it was Dale Walcott who scored.
Oh, when they took him off on the stretcher.
Yeah.
And he done the thing.
2-0.
Dale Walcott.
2-0.
I mean, and then Flammy scored in 2 goals as well. Those are 2 good strikes as well. So a lot of memories prior to last year that I thought were pretty awesome. Yeah. And then Claire scoring, was it 10-second goal? That was amazing too. So
Fabregas.
Yeah.
Right up to the second half.
Good memories there, Lonzo. There, some good ones.
Yeah.
For me, I loved Dennis Bergkamp. I think it might have been his first goal for Arsenal in a North London derby. The one where Ian Wright dug out a cross from the right side. Bergkamp controls it with his left foot. The ball comes past the defender, and he's set up on his right foot for a shot into the corner.
Yeah. I can see it now. I just started talking about it.
Yeah. And one other where Kanu flips the ball over a Tottenham player's head and volleys it into the goal.
With those big feet of his as well. I mean, they're like canoes, weren't they? Kanu with his canoes. One other thing as well. When I think it was the documentary that Thierry Henry did. When they released those documentaries through Arsenal, there was the Henry, there was Keown, Bergkamp, but in the Henry one, in his house, and the goal where he scores against Tottenham and he does the famous slide, and he slides along and he slides and he's in front of all of the Tottenham supporters. He has that picture blown up in his house, and he said it's not like an ego thing, but sometimes I'll be in the house and I'll walk past and I'll stop and look at that picture. And he said, I just like looking at the faces on the people in the crowd in the Tottenham thing, their reaction to what just happened. And sometimes I'll just find myself, amount of times I've looked at it and I'll just be walking by and I'll stop sometimes and I'll never get bored of just seeing their faces. Because some of their faces are almost like that really happened. They're not like, fuck you. They're like in shock. Like, my God, that just happened. It's not like, it's more like, what? So yeah, I don't know where our host is.
I don't want that team to get anything. You giving them 2 goals, they get nothing. Take the Brentford match, copy it, replace Brentford with that team. Exactly the same thing. They get nothing and they like it. The whole game, they get nothing. They score, VAR says no. They score, handball, return. Nope, not happening. They score. They try to score. Gabriel, White, Tomiyasu, Tierney clears it off the line. I don't care. They get nothing. 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 You know what I mean? Nothing. The entire game from minute 0-0-0-0 to 90-0-0, it's just all Arsenal. All the time. Arsenal. All the way for 90 minutes. That's it. My head's ringing at the end of it, and that's all I can hear. Is Arsenal. The cat thinks it's right. So yeah, no, they get nothing. I don't want
Stan, you
any.
just have a weird
No,
opinions there.
They get
no,
nothing.
no pleasure for them at all. No happiness for them. They don't think they have a chance. Because
I mean, I do like hearing that, Gary. Don't get me wrong. I mean, there's nothing wrong with when it's like, smash from 5-0. But there is that little thing of, that adrenaline when you're actually watching the game, and there's that one moment you think like it's out of your reach, and then you take it out, out the jaws of victory, and do you know what I'm getting at? There's that. That I do.
I don't want them.
But I
I don't
hear
want
you
them to
though.
feel
I
that
do hear
way
you.
anymore. Because they feel
Willy
like,
Wonka. You're Mr. Tom. Gary's like Willy Wonka. You get nothing.
yes.
I heard that. When Gary was saying that. I heard that from Gene Wilder.
Yeah.
Good day, sir. Get nothing. All right. Predictions.
No golden
I'm
ticket
go,
for you.
I'm going to go for a 2-1 win for Arsenal. I think we beat Tottenham last season under Santos.
No, Loris, right? I think that's a big thing for us. Loris is a good keeper, right? They've got some. Who's going to be in goal for them? Who's there? Who will it be? Do we know? Who is it?
Is it Robert Green?
Who's their backup keeper? I don't know.
I thought it was Robert Green. I thought.
No Kulusevski. That's got to be a help.
Richarlison's going to come on for some drama, right?
Okay, yeah, Jesus.
In place of Kulusevski. He's talking about the reverse of what happened to us at Old Trafford. Okay, you get nothing. You lose, sir. 3-1. So yeah, I think it's going to be tough. Conte is going to set out his stall. They're going to be tough to break down, but we beat them 2-1. That's my prediction. We beat.
Someone's got someone out there who's cleverer than me. Please do a meme of Gary dressed up in the Willy Wonka, the hat, and the cane, and you get nothing, sir.
Where's John Smythe when you need him?
Yeah, you miss that guy.
Well, I'm sure you'll have a call to action, Tony, for John to do some work for you.
What I want to know is
Gary Wonka. Gary Wonka.
Song? Gary, you sing with Saliba song?
I don't know. I don't really like it that much, so, but I probably will sing it, especially if we're winning.
Are you going to sing the Angel?
I'll try to sing everything I can think of, but I might have had something to drink before the match. So
DWTT, don't Wonka the trip.
Richarlison bullied us last time out, but this time we have a wall at the back. Exactly. Predictions, Stan?
3-2.
3-2 win.
Arsenal.
How many?
Unfortunately, I think it's a 2-2 draw.
That's right, man, isn't it?
He never fails.
Why is he on this show?
Doomsday, Tony Doomsday, Alonso.
How's it? What did I say? Arsenal would finish.
We're on an aeroplane, right? We're on a fucking aeroplane. We're on an aeroplane. Can't we just jettison Tony? We're on an aeroplane.
You said 3-1, Alonso, right?
3-0, unless these also talking over me.
Okay.
3-0 to Arsenal, yes.
All right, Gary, be realistic. What do you think?
I said they get nothing. I was gonna say 3-0, but that's too mean. So 2-0, nothing. 2-0 Arsenal. 2-0. They get nothing.
Do you know where you're sitting yet, Gary? Do you know where you are in the stadium?
I don't know. I don't know where I'm sitting. I don't know.
Are you going to do the museum thing while you're there? You should do that.
I don't know if we're gonna have time. So,
when's the next time you're going to be there, man?
I might try to come see my dad for his birthday. So that's February. So I might try to do that then.
You'd be gutted if they're closed on that day, wouldn't you? Come back in February. We're closed for renovations.
All right, we might dip back into the North London derby a little bit earlier. Gary, you did a great job. I give props to Stan for last Thursday night for the podcast. Gary, you did a great one on Sunday. You got predictions from Alan, Maahir, and Matt. So now we're going to fill in the blanks between the four of us here. Stan, give us your top four, and of course, champions. Who's going to win the league?
Before you do that, I'm going to go. It is late here.
Yeah, you've been through all this stuff. So thanks, Gary.
Yeah. So
have you found any coconut water yet, Gary?
Hey, Gary, take it easy, Gary.
Yep. Maybe I don't know about Sunday. I think Sunday might be a little bit tough for me to to chat with you guys since it will
You'll be
be.
traveling, or
Well, I'll be in Leeds, and I
yeah,
think the match is at what time? I think it's at. I
4:30.
don't know. Okay, so yeah, so I don't know how I'll be feeling after that one.
Just keep
Be
a
a
hold
full
of
weekend.
Mr. Tom and don't lose him in the streets of Leeds. Okay, he's a little guy.
Sure. He is a little man.
Mr.
Well,
Tom,
I'll
hold
see you
on to
guys.
the
Thanks
phone.
for having me on.
Mr.
Ray,
Tom,
Stan,
Get,
Tony,
get a kebab.
Alonzo.
get a
I
kebab.
think I saw. Who did I see in the
Yes,
chat?
fish
So
and
Big
chips.
Gunner, Mr.
You have to
Tom
tell him what
Ospice.
type of kebab against Stan. Remind him.
Let's see.
Donna.
Mr.
Donna
Tom,
Kebab.
hold
No, no.
on to the coattails of Willy Wonka, Gary, Mr. Tom. So see you, Gary.
You get nothing.
You get nothing.
You're
You're
Mr.
making
Tom.
Mr. Tom sound like an Oompa Loompa, for fuck's sake.
No, I didn't say that, Mr. Tom. I
Um,
am your friend, but I don't know about
Tony.
Stan. Yeah.
Tony's got 2 orders for John right now. An Oompa Loompa, Tom. And
Oh
a
no,
Willy
yeah, I did
Wonka.
not go there. I did not say that. I'll see you guys. Have a good one.
See ya. Thanks,
Yeah, see
Gary.
ya.
You like Gary?
All right,
Bye.
Dan.
I want to
Bye-bye.
see him as the
Thanks.
great kazoo is what I want to see Mr.
We'll
Thomas.
try and get through this as quickly as possible. Give me your champions. Give me second, third, and fourth, Stan.
Oh, I think the champions are going to be Manchester City. They've just got better, haven't they? They've gone out and bought a fucking robot. Like, just,
Yeah.
You know, as long as you fucking put his oil in, make sure his batteries are charged, he's going to get you a goal, for fuck's sake. 11 goals already.
Yeah.
I mean, this is like FIFA. You know, I play FIFA on like fucking novice mode and just score goals like the Harlem Globetrotters, and it's like watching them playing like football on that level. Second place. Second place. I think. I mean, if you base it on current form right now, right, on the games played where we are, and that's what I'm basing it on.
Sure, we're 7 games in.
Yeah,
This is a great time.
Yeah, because if
to
you
look
ask
at-
me this question again in like maybe a month's time, it might be different. But right now, where we're talking about, I would say in second place, it's got to be Arsenal.
Yeah, and that's why it's called a
Right.
predictions podcast.
Yeah.
You know, you're
However,
predicting-
the caveat is, you know, we're going to have a lot of games coming up in October. We're in
Yeah.
more competitions than we were in last season. We've already got a player. We've already got El Neni and ESR. We know that we can't count on them until December. We're short. You know, we're bookings away and injuries away in certain areas of fucking shit street. So, you know, to get to January, we've got like fucking gaffer tape holding us together. But based on current form right now, you know, touching wood and, you know, maybe hiring Paul Pogba's witch doctor to give us some good faith, maybe we can get to second place if we continue where we are right now. Third place. You see, the usual suspects are having problems, aren't they? You know, Liverpool. You know, I don't think you can still discount Liverpool. There's some good players in that team. Chelsea as well. You know, is Graham Potter. You know, is it going to click for Graham Potter? Graham Potter's not going to be able to. Graham Potter's not going in there with a team of players that he's brought in. He's going in there and being given tools to work with. Big test, right? So I'm not so sure. It's really hard to call the next 2 places. Well, I mean, just remind me of the top 4 places in the league now. Do you have it to hand? What the league table is right now?
Tottenham are 3rd, Brighton are 4th.
Yeah, I don't think Brighton are going to remain 4th.
I
find it difficult. I think on current
Man
form,
United's 5th, Fulham's
on current
6th,
form, maybe
Chelsea
Tottenham.
7th.
Okay, on current form, Tottenham 3rd.
Yeah, ticker.
Tottenham 3rd on current form. 4th place, Man United.
Okay, Tottenham and United. Okay. Alonso?
Man United or Chelsea? It's hard between them 2.
I know. Matt did the same thing on Sunday. Alonso, who's your top 4?
City, Arsenal, Liverpool, Man United.
And United. Wow, okay.
Same as me, that
Tony,
wasn't it? The same as me, wasn't it? I think.
except Liverpool instead of Tottenham. You know. BX Gunner goes City, Liverpool, City, Arsenal, Liverpool, Chelsea. I'll give you mine. I've already done my homework. Mine are City. Arsenal will come second above Liverpool, third, and Spurs will grab that fourth.
Of course, you have us next to Liverpool. How
Well,
surprising.
They're going to be a decent team, Tony.
What was mine again? Read it out. What did I say?
Let's get staying on record.
City, Arsenal, Tottenham, Man United.
No, that's not right.
That's what you said.
Yeah, I'm changing it. I'm changing it. City, Arsenal, Liverpool,
Yeah.
Spurs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that now that I'm thinking about it, that last spot is going to be Spurs or Man United. It's one of them, right? And I'm going to go with Spurs.
Maahir said the same thing, and he agreed, and you said the same thing now as me also. City,
Yeah.
Arsenal, Liverpool, Spurs. Tony.
Yeah.
When I hosted the Thursday I hosted, I said Arsenal was get second.
Is this set in stone for something at the end of the season? Are we going to get asked this again later on at some point? Because things change, man.
No, we're going to unbox this next season.
Oh,
at the end of the
cheers.
season.
City's definitely to get first.
Yeah.
Us getting second depends if we can stay healthy or not.
That's
Spurs
the thing, isn't it,
third.
Tony? We're
I'll
short,
see
isn't it?
fourth.
That's not going to be our undoing this season, I feel, is if we get to January and we're fucking not up there, are we going to do enough to get us through to the rest of the season? I think Tony's bang on.
Yeah.
I know. I'm
I mean,
worried we'll end up fourth.
What's your third and fourth, Tony?
Spurs and Chelsea.
Okay, you got Chelsea in there.
Mm.
Liverpool's well outside the top four for you then. Okay. Tony, I'll stay with you.
I don't think of Liverpool every moment like you do, right?
Surely we should be able to revisit this after the January window, after the World Cup, because things are going to be, things will be changed around. Ronaldo be at Chelsea.
Stan, it's a prediction podcast. These are the rules. Tony, how many points are we going to get? How many points will Arsenal get?
Jesus, he's locking us in, isn't you?
I'm locking you in. 78. All right.
What did we get last season?
69.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Matron.
78 would be a very, very healthy points return. Tony, you would probably see a second place. Alonso, how many points will we get?
I would say 82.
82.
Rah, man.
That's chest out. That's balls out right there.
Puffing his chest right out there.
I love it.
Balls deep prediction.
What do you say, Ray?
Hello there.
Oh, yeah. I've got us at 75. 75 points. Not as confident as Tony, which is funny. Stan, what have you got?
I quite like Tony's figure. As in, not as in his actual figure, but his, But I like Alonso with balls, man. Them big brass fucking monkey balls of his are just shining in the light,
These
man.
nuts.
80.
These nuts, man.
Yeah, I mean, these nuts, man. Jeff.
He's got
love
his big
that.
nuts hanging from a.
You know what I mean?
Ford
there's something
F-150.
about that I like. I mean, it's like let's get out of the 70s, man, and just like head straight into the fucking base. What was just out of interest? What was Man City and Liverpool's points last season? They were like 90 some shit, right?
99, 98, I think.
Yeah, but
99,
they're
97.
not going to. 96,
You know something?
93.
I'm with these nuts down there, bottom left, man. I'm going in. You know what? Fuck it, man. I'm going in with like an 82.
Okay.
Yeah, man. It's giving me inspiration.
Gary
Why not?
went here.
Why not?
Is why not here? Oh, okay.
No,
Where's why not?
Yeah, you know
gonna
what comes
93
in.
and
I'll take
92 were
shit
the points
everybody
last
out.
season.
Why not?
Staying 93 and 92.
Look at BX Gunner, man. Look at him.
88.
Hey? Cock of the hoop there with his 88 points to
BX
rock.
Gunner, I'm taking note of yours as well, so play along with us, BX Gunner. Okay. Gary said 77. Matt said 76. Maahir said 76 also. So we're ranging between, I'm actually the lowest of all of us, 75 up to BX.
Fucking pessimistic, Ray.
88 points. Tony, we are the next one up. Tony is we're gonna
That's a
play.
good question. You see, okay, yeah, I was going to say, where are we so far this season to last season? But yeah, we're streets ahead, right? Streets ahead.
Yeah. We lost the first 3 games and then we won the next 3 games and then we drew. So we would have had 10 points. Stan.
So yeah, we'd be already on. Yeah,
I got a banner for that.
Sure
I'll
you
show
do.
It's a Cardiff. It's a Cardiff town. So yeah, we had 3 wins and a draw. That would have been 10 points. We are 8 points ahead of where we were last season right now. So
nice.
there you go. All right, Tony. We played United already. So wins versus top 6. Tony, how many wins are we getting against the 2 games against Liverpool, 2 games against City, 2 games against Chelsea, 1 against United, and 2 against Tottenham? How many games out of 9 are we winning?
4.
Now, there could be some draws in there, you know. Okay,
4.
4. Do you want to pick the teams that they could be, or you just want to leave it at 4?
4.
Okay. You don't want to pick the teams. All right. Stan, how many wins are we getting against in those 9 games?
I don't see us winning away to Man City.
Yeah.
I don't see us winning maybe away to Chelsea.
Okay.
You know, I'm
That's 2
thinking
down.
maybe I'm saying draws, maybe thinking draws, right? Draw
Yeah.
against Chelsea, maybe a loss against Man City. But I'd like to think that we can take care of business at home. I think maybe at home against Man City, there's a possibility that we could squeak a win if we've got everybody available, or a draw.
Yep.
You know,
Well,
and
that's
again, when I'm saying this, I'm basing it on what I've seen for the 7 games this season. I'm compartmentalizing. What do you call it?
Compartmentalizing it.
That's the fucking shit that I'm talking about. That's what I'm looking at. These
Just
like
like
7 games. I'm not thinking about last
boxing.
season.
Yeah.
I'm looking at what I'm seeing now. And that's what I'm saying, that we should be able to revisit this because, you know, injuries, serious bookings,
It's fun.
but also new personnel changes in January could really change things. But
I
basing it on
remember
what
when
I've
we
seen-
did
I've
last
seen now,
season, you said you wanted to be involved. You said you wanted to be involved in a predictions podcast when we
I know,
did the
but
last
I'm fucking edging my bets. You know
big
what I'm saying?
time. Big time.
So yeah, we got to take care of business at home.
Okay, who
You
are we
know,
beating?
and I think we can beat Chelsea at home.
Chelsea's won.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's Man United at home game.
Yep.
I think we can get revenge on Man United. You know,
Yep.
but away from home, you got to be looking at picking up some draws.
Yeah.
Try to draw against Man City. You know.
Yeah.
Definitely draw against Chelsea and absorb a loss against a Man City. Does that make sense? You know what I'm getting at? You get a draw against Chelsea, you absorb a loss. But again, it's so hard because we're talking about games way off in the future. We could have different personnel, different situations. So it's just all speculation. But I've got to think that we can
give you a
I've got to
definition
think.
of prediction. Do you
Go on
want to
then,
know what
Mr.
definition
Go on
of
then,
prediction
Mr. Collins Dictionary.
is? Keep talking while I find this. I think it might say something about like without knowing the full truth. You know
I mean,
what
I'm not fucking Nostradamus. You know what I mean?
Meaning
Oh, right.
of prediction.
I think it just says to be able to foretell the future, right? I mean, that's like Mystic Meg shit. So, Russell Grant.
Okay, a thing predicted a forecast. That's what it says. The action of predicting something. That doesn't. Anyway, go on. Carry on. All right, we're going to beat Chelsea. We're going to beat United. We're going to beat Tottenham.
Yes, we're going to beat them. We're going to beat them this week.
Yeah, once or twice.
Away from home again, right? You know.
Yeah.
Again, if everybody's fit, we beat them. It's so hard, Ray.
You're going to go for 4 wins then, right?
Yeah.
Does Stan look like a fucking fortune teller?
All right,
Yeah.
I've got wins against Tottenham
Alonso's
at
like, yeah.
home, Tottenham at home, Liverpool at home, United at home, and Chelsea away. So
Hard, man, to
I
do
got
this.
4 wins there. Tony's got 4 wins. He didn't give me the teams. Alonso, who we beat?
Tony's clever.
He's hedging. He's hedging big time.
We're
Alonso,
beating,
how many wins? And do you want to know what? Do you want to give me what the teams are? You don't have to.
the wins are Man United at home.
Mm-hmm.
I think we could beat Chelsea twice.
Okay.
In order to be the best, we got to beat the best.
Yeah.
In that city, right?
Yep.
Somehow we got to give them a game. And without that plan for over the years, we're going to have to come out with something special. I think we could draw against both of those teams. That's like a wish, right?
Yep.
And Liverpool, we could beat them. So I guess like
Okay, so you got Liverpool, you got United, you got Chelsea twice, right?
yeah,
It's the thing though with
maybe
Chelsea, right? They spent like, if you
Tottenham
include
too.
the money that they're paying for Potter, the money that they included, to pay off Tuchel, and their transfer money, that's like 350 million. It was like a $250 million in transfers. It's cost them another 100 million in getting rid of Tuchel and bringing in a contract with Potter. Surely that's got to yield a result. If you pay 350 million in one window and you finish the season fucking buck naked without a trophy in the cabinet, I mean, it's wild to think that this is where it's going. 350 fucking. When did it become normal to bring in a manager, getting rid of a manager that's won the fucking European Cup, is what I call the Champions League, and the World Super Club Cup, and it's costing you 100 million to do that transition? What planet are we on? What
Chelsea
planet are we on?
Chelsea.
That's
Alright,
craziness,
Chelsea.
man.
Alonso, you got Tottenham for a win as well, right?
yes, sir.
Okay, so you got 5 down. All right, fair enough.
Right.
Okay, next one up is going to be goals for and goals against.
Right, we're getting in deep here.
Yeah, it's called a prediction. Called predictions again. And you forced me to look for a very bad definition of prediction. Alonso, do you want to go
Fortune
first?
telling, right? That's
Sure.
all you know.
Yeah, Tony go first because he's talking right now. So give it to Tony.
Get it in, Tony.
Boom.
That's what you said.
We're going to drop the mic.
Oh my God, Tony was taking you so long, man.
I'm thinking.
I sent all of you these categories.
I don't think you sent it to me.
Oh God, here we go.
Maybe not you.
I suppose the easiest way to work it out is look at the goals we got last season and then add on the goals that Lacazette didn't get that you would expect. And maybe you'd come to a figure that is kind of near what we should be getting, right?
Yeah.
61 and 48 is last year.
So last season we got 61 goals in the league.
Yeah. Yeah.
And how many goals were we missing up front? You know, I mean, that's how I tried to make.
Don't worry, we're going to go through the front four and how many goals they're going to score as well. That's another category. That's close to the
69 and 40, right?
What's the 40? 40 was from the what's
40
40?
is against. Goals
Again.
against.
Oh, okay. We scored 60 odd goals. We let 40
Right,
in.
Tony's going to go 69, 40. Okay.
Out of interest, though, how does that compare to some of the other teams? Like, letting in 40, is that what roundabout? Were we bad? Was that good?
That's top 4 status, kind of. If you concede more than 40, you'll be in a little bit of trouble. Let me just see last season, the teams that conceded 40 or more goals.
And I think that we probably
Tottenham
improved in that area, haven't we?
Yeah, Tottenham were 4th. They conceded 40 goals.
Okay.
We
Chelsea were
conceded 48.
Yeah, Chelsea were 3rd. They conceded 33. So, You want to get under 40 definitely, and you want to get close to 30, Stan, if you're going to be a good team. 21 goals for 5 against. So BX Gunner, this is going to be for the full season. Just so you know, goals for, goals against. All right, Tony's giving me 69 and 40. Stan, last season Arsenal did 61-48.
It's hard, isn't it, man? I'm gonna go. I think we've got more goals in this than last season.
Absolutely.
I think we've got a striker that can give us a little bit more, and I also think some of our outfield players, maybe a player like Martinelli may do better than he did last season. We're definitely going to miss out on ESR's goals, who provides a lot of goals, but we've also seen that Teabag notwithstanding can also chip in with goals from outside the box. So 69 goals was like Tony said, and we got last season again. Sorry, Ray.
61.
Okay, I'm gonna crack into the 70s. I think because my man Lonnie down there inspired me when he came out with his big bad balls with the 80 number. I was like, you know what, man? Everyone's talking about 70s, and I was like, fuck that shit, 80s, and I'm a little bit the same, man. So I'm gonna bust off from I'm gonna say 75.
Okay, I actually.
No, hang on, what did Tony say?
69.
Yeah, I want to go high. I want to get into the 70s, 75s.
Yeah, I said 75, Stan.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
I've written down 75
you make me feel
here.
better.
Goals against, Stan.
Oof. I'd like to think that our defence has got better. We leaked in 40 last season. Hopefully, we can shut a few out. You said that Chelsea got
7. We've conceded 7 so far.
Okay.
If you hit the number I've got written down, I'll be amazed. But yeah, we could get close to it.
I was looking.
Ray went with 35.
Did he? Okay, I was looking at a little bit lower than that. I was looking at. I think between 30 and 35. So not to pick the same number as Ray, I'll go with 33.
Yes, I did 32. So.
Oh, okay. I thought you picked 35. Sorry. Okay.
No,
I was actually the number that pops into my head was 28, but I was thinking, is that too much? And I was just trying to count up. But yeah, I think where we are is a good place to be.
Like 85 to 90. BX Gunner, we're winning the league with this.
What's he smoking tonight? He hasn't told us what he's smoking yet.
We're not winning the league with him scores, BX Gunner. We're winning the universe.
Tony's asking, did Gary go with 7? They actually didn't cover goals for, goals against, so I got to get that from them at a later date. Alonso, how many goals we scoring? How many goals we conceding?
I'm going with 76, and we're conceding 36.
Yeah, I like that.
I thought he was going to say 37.
I like that in the 30s, man.
Yeah,
we've got to do better than. We can do better than 40. We will do better than 40.
Yeah,
if that was what it was, I've got to think that our defense is more capable of improving, right?
Yeah,
it's going to be interesting.
48 last season. 48 last season.
All right, the next section is the last section for these 4 players. Let's go with Gabriel Jesus first. Stan, how many Premier League? Don't go on season now. Just Premier League goals will Jesus score?
15.
Okay. Tony?
I originally went with 12. Way he's going, it should be 18, but that depends if he stays healthy. So I'll cut it in the middle and go with 15.
Okay.
And can I just say as well, I think 17 is kind of like a benchmark for like a Giroud, Lacazette kind of a number, right? But I just think that the way that we're playing at the moment, that other players will chip in. So even though he doesn't maybe make a number like 20 goals or those, he will be in there with more contributions.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Definitely.
So I'm thinking somewhere between 15 and 17. And I don't want to go underneath Giroud and Lacazette. So maybe I will go with 17.
Okay. I've got 17.
Oh, have you?
17, yep. You want to go 17, Stan?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think he should be able to match it.
I'm seeing Stan is a guy who goes to a restaurant and can't figure out what he wants to eat.
He looks at what everybody else is ordering, and he's like, "Ooh, that sounds good."
Hey,
No,
Steve,
I'm the sort of guy that
Sorry
when
to
I go to a restaurant and I have a really nice meal, I will go back to that restaurant and I will order the same meal again because I know that meal's good here, rather than trying
Yeah, I do
something
that a
else.
lot too.
Trying something else and thinking, "Oh, that's shit. I should have gone with my
Yeah.
original."
Yeah.
That's me.
Yeah, it pisses you off when you go with something different, then you're like, "Fuck."
Should have
Or
gone
you
with
go
the
in there, they have a different cook, and your normal thing sucks.
The ex-Gunners got Jesus at 20 to 25 goals. Steve Denham's joined us. Welcome to the show.
Right, Steve.
Stephen. It's actually light attendance tonight. The plane is not flying at full capacity. People are saving their powder for the North London Derby, I guess. Alonso, how many goals will Gabriel Jesus score? I think he's got 4 or 5 already.
I say maybe 19.
19 goals. Okay.
Why not?
Right.
Right.
Because I think if you get something like 17 in the league, and in the other competitions, he brings that up
Right.
to that's not a bad,
Not at all.
that's respectable, right?
Yeah, that's a good haul. Okay, Bukayo Saka, Stan,
What's she on at the minute, mate?
1 goal.
I think he'll maybe.
10.
I think he may be looking at like he got 10 last season.
Yeah, about 10.
I think he'll be getting something around this similar, around about the same. I think. Don't get me wrong; it doesn't mean that he might not make some nice contributions and some really good second balls that leads to an assist and some good assists. But I don't think he's going to get over 10 goals. I don't think he's quite there yet. He's not. He's not going to put up Salah and Mane numbers just yet. But he's a player that is on that trajectory. So, if he got 10 goals last season in the league, I would like to think that he could replicate that and not fall under 10 and get 9 or 8. So I'll go with 10.
Okay. The guys on Sunday thought that Saka would assist more, but maybe not score as many goals. They saw him as more of an assister this coming season. Tony, what's your thoughts? I haven't decided just yet.
His shirt number.
Here's what I'll do. I'll do 9. I'll do 9 goals for Saka.
His shirt number, Ray.
Okay, 7 for you, Tony. Yeah, I think Gabriel Jesus might take 1 or 2 goals off of his toes. You know what I mean? By being in the position of poaching goals. Saka will not. We don't have to rely as much on Saka now as we did last season.
So you think it's a case that of when we didn't have Gabriel Jesus and we had a player like Lacazette, some players may have been overcompensating in their contributions because of that, and now that we've got Gabriel Jesus,
so we've seen
it would be
Lacazette.
a transference.
We've seen Lacazette on the edge of the penalty box, not able to get into that 6-yard box, and as a consequence, Saka had a good season because he had to be that guy.
Makes sense.
This season, I think he doesn't have to be that guy. We've seen it. He hasn't scored goals, but he's had a good season in the assists. But you wouldn't think it. He doesn't pass the eye test. You know what I mean? Alonso, Bukayo Saka.
The season's still young, and I don't question his talent nor desire. People may come up with excuses on why he's not scoring, but I think the contrary. I think that he's used to being leaned on too much, and I think he's seen that there's more balance now to do less scoring and maybe do more passing or more something else. And fair play to him. He has developed quite an arsenal in his own playing style. I think that he's benefited with Jesus being there and Gabriel Jesus out there and being more and people score more Odegaard and Martinelli also scoring. So you're not seeing more of the scoring, especially he's had to provide. Maybe he's done that for a reason. Or maybe the shot hasn't been there for him, but he's more active, I guess. by getting his teammates more involved. However, I think he still got his scoring touch, a little bit of scoring touch there. I think playing for England really helps him out. So yeah, I think he'll finish up with maybe 12 goals.
12. Okay.
Yeah.
And going back to Tony, Tony picked 7. But I think what you're taking into consideration is what Saka needs for this coming season is maybe less minutes. Marquinhos to step up a little bit more, Tony, and other players to take minutes away from Saka because he needs to rest just a little bit more.
Yeah, I still think Tomiyasu is not going to get my games, and when Tomiyasu isn't playing, Saka's doing a lot more defensively. That takes a lot out of him. Plus, he's doing the assist part. I just don't think he's going to get double digit with the goals this season.
Okay. All right, let's move on to Martinelli. Tony, I'll start off with you.
Eddie and Nketiah shirt number.
For 14 for Martinelli. Yeah, I mean, he's got, 3 or 4 goals right now?
Yep.
So you got him on 14. Okay. Do you want to say something about Martinelli, or, he's just going to show us he's sort of delivering on the promise that we've seen over the last few years, right?
Yeah. He's recovered from his injury that happened 2.5 seasons ago that Gary always keeps saying holds him back.
Yeah, I mean, look at ESR now and look at Martinelli. The script is kind of flipped right there.
Yeah. ESR should have had more minutes, even fighting injuries and stuff. Martinelli doesn't really have any competition unless we throw Jesus out there, which we've seen the last game. We've seen it a couple of times the last 20, 30 minutes. Martinelli playing down the middle.
I'm looking at the front three, and you've picked 15 for Gabriel Jesus, 7 for Saka, and you feel Martinelli is going to get just almost as many goals as Gabriel Jesus on 14. So the mainstay of our attack will be the 2 Brazilians up front.
Yep.
Okay, BX Gunner said for Saka, we have to take into consideration leveling up in quality and more chances for Saka. Partey will take a step back, and Danilo or Douglas Luiz will step in come January. Alonso, do you want me to go to you next or Stan?
Me is okay.
Yeah, Martinelli for you. What do you think? How many goals, Alonso?
He's showing a lot of pace, and his dribbling ability has been pretty awesome to see. He gets in the box very well, and we notice how our left-hand side has been somewhat of the strength so far this year. With Tierney and Zinchenko or Martinelli and Xhaka being more of an influence on that side. So you're seeing more goals or more activity on that part of the pitch.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, I think you're going to see more goals being scored on that side this year, where in the past you see it on the right. However, I think Martinelli is going to be quite a player to watch here on out, because even though he's not named to the World Cup team, I think that he has something to prove, and or use that as motivation if he doesn't get that Brazilian spot. So, I think it could be wonderful for him. Even still, even to be prepared for that spot. With that said, I think he could score maybe 15 goals this year, maybe 10, 15 goals. Or maybe 13.
Narrow it down. 15, 14?
13.
13, okay. BX Gunner's got him at 13 goals as well. Stan, what do you think? Granit Xhaka, is he affecting what Martinelli's doing? Is he helping, or is it more Gabriel Jesus?
It's more Zinchenko than anything.
You see, I did that with my lips.
I heard that.
I think it's a little bit of both. It's a little bit of both. But speaking of Martinelli, and do me a favour, Tone, because I was trying to look for it, and I know that you're quite good in it. What was Cristiano Ronaldo's stats at Man United when he was first there? Not now, when he first, went there from Sporting Lisbon.
Season. It
When
was
he went there
not
from,
good.
yeah, his first couple of seasons. What kind of numbers did Cristiano Ronaldo put up? And the reason that I say that is because, I mean, I've always been a guy that I love wingers. I love a good winger, me. Love a bit of wing play. You know, I was a big Robert Perez fan. I was a big Lundberg fan. Loved Overmars. Loved Limpar. Loved Merson when he played out on the left. And I've always liked left wingers as well. A tricky left winger. Sometimes they're hard to find, right? And I think Martinelli has really stamped that position and is making that position his own. If you remember that first season when he was with us, I think he scored about 10 goals in that first season. I think that that
Yeah.
season when he scored the goal against
Europa League.
Chelsea.
It's 10 in the Europa.
Yeah, it was 10 in all competitions, which was a really good
Mainly
return.
Europa.
And then there was a trail off, but he was ill and injured. He had COVID, and I think he was injured as well. And you remember there was that talk going around that Arteta doesn't fancy him. He doesn't fancy him. Well, if Arteta didn't fancy him, then I respect Martinelli even more for being a player that was unfancied and has now managed to establish himself as a member of the team and one of the first people that you think about to put on the team sheet if fit and available. So I think that he's really getting back into his form now, and he's shown us what he can do with the 10 goals in that first season. I'd like to think that this season that he can improve upon that. How many goals is he on now?
He's got 3 or 4 already.
3.
3 or 4, and there's been some real close
He
chances.
should have had that goal at United.
I'm gonna go for. If we're talking just the Premier League, and he got 10 in all competitions, I want to say that he's going to get 10 in the Premier League.
Okay.
Tony, have you got those stats on Ronaldo? By the way,
I've had him for a good minute now.
All right.
2003, 2004, his first season, 4. Next season, 5.
Wow.
2005, 2006, 9 goals. 2006, 2007, 17. 2007, 2008, 31.
So
2008,
Martinelli
2009,
could be around
18.
How old was he when he broke out to that 17 goal season, Tony?
It's 2006, so
How old is the guy?
let's have to see when the fucker was born.
And the reason that I asked Tony to look at it is that he really reminds me. This really reminds me of what I remember Cristiano Ronaldo looked like when he first went.
21.
He was 21, and Martinelli's 21, so that breakout could happen. 17 goals. I mean, is Martinelli going to be a Ronaldo?
And Martinelli says that he is the player that he kind of tries to, if he has something that he tries to emulate.
Yep.
That's the player.
Yep. Okay. Listen, we want to see big things from Martinelli this season. So, Stan, last one, Martin Odegaard.
Mm.
And then we'll get into quickly the Premier League games on the ticker at the bottom.
What's he on now?
In about 25 minutes from now.
What's Odegaard on at the minute?
3 goals.
8.
Yep. Okay. Alonso.
Let's see. 9.
He got 6 last season. He's on 3 already. Some of the coaches have been telling him to take shots.
9.
Stan, you can change your mind if you want.
I mean, if he got 6 last season, right, he's already halfway there. That's an improvement, isn't it? I think.
Yeah.
I mean, Alonso's going with a number 9 now.
Gary went with 10. Matt went with 10. Maahir went with 7. I think I'm going to go with 9. I'm going to go with 9. Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't think he's going to quite reach 10.
No, and he's more of an assister.
I'm going to stick with me 8.
Oh, stick with 8. Okay. Alonso. Odegaard.
9.
9 goals. Tony, you get the last word on this prediction.
Martinelli's shirt number.
Tony's like 2. It's like Tony's already got 4. Man.
35. Okay. 11. You got him for 11. You're picking shirt numbers today, Tony, a lot. Okay.
Was that shirt numbers or shit numbers?
Martinelli looks.
Might use them as lottery numbers. See how that works.
Ronaldo was on it. BX Skinner Martinelli came out a killer this year. Yeah, he started things off with us for that Crystal Palace game. All right, Gabriel Jesus on 4 yellow cards. That's from Sunday. I know that's a worry that you have. Stan the man. All right.
How's our striker not going to get a yellow card in the North London derby? You know what I'm saying? They know that as well. You know, surely they'll target him. Surely they want him to not be in the Liverpool game because we might lose points and they pick up points. Do you think that's a conversation that a manager would have? Like, all right, lads, looking at the big picture here, you know, Jesus is on 4. You know, we've got to do what we can today, but let's make sure he doesn't play for the Liverpool game because they could drop. Do you reckon they have that conversation? Do you reckon that's a conversation that takes place?
Clever coaches say the left back's on a yellow. Attack the left back. You know what I mean? Yeah. If you're clever, you have to do that. BX Skinner, I got all of your predictions. Listen, if there's anyone watching this on Rewind or live right now, drop if you want to be immortalized. If you want to immortalize your predictions, put them in the comments section. I'll take a note of it. We'll unbox it in May or June, whenever the season ends. Hopefully, we're going to a Europa League final and winning the thing. You know, we'll see. Right now, it starts off with a Premier League preview. We talked about Arsenal, Tottenham, so let's do Liverpool, Brighton, Tony.
What are you starting at that one for? What?
All right, you tell me which one to go with.
I'll go with it. Liverpool will win at home.
So picky.
It's not on his list. That's why I went out of sequence.
I want to start with that one.
I always go with fucking the ESPN. I should just keep it on very shitty fucking handwriting.
Alonso, Liverpool at home to Brighton, and
you didn't keep your own, right?
Yeah, I'm going for Brighton, Ray.
I know.
Yeah, pal, it's Chelsea first. Why do you switch it up?
I could say just to mess with you, but that's not true. You're going with Brighton, Alonso?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I think Liverpool get back on track here with a win. Not to sound obsessed with Liverpool, but I think
I bet they've raised that Liverpool 55 times so far.
He's got a Liverpool shirt on under the Arsenal one.
Liverpool sympathizer here. When I was 7 years old, I was a Liverpool supporter.
Here we go. It's all coming out now. Fucking hell. Arsenal fan circle turning into like a confessional hour.
Is that why you like Rosicky too?
When you're 7 years old, you don't really know what you're doing, you know? You
right.
Just go
and say 50
mates.
Hail Marys. Come out and see me next week.
Stan, what have you got? Liverpool get back on track against Brighton?
Well, the thing is with Brighton, they've done so well, right, under the Potter regime. And you know what it's like, you know, when you've got like what you may call a legacy manager. Look what happened with Arsenal. You know, when Wenger went, you know, it's very different. It's very difficult for someone to get back and jump into the saddle and continue where they left off. So I've got a feeling like yourself, Ray, that, you know, they're a sleeping dog, Liverpool. They've had some bad results, but they're not a shit team. So I'm thinking that Liverpool will get a win on this one.
Yeah, look, they've got to get back on track with that Champions League. I think if you're in the league now and City are going to win most of the league campaigns, let's say they're going to.
Wouldn't surprise me if Alexander Arnold scored as well, just to give a big fuck you to Southgate.
You have to stamp your passport to Europe. You have to get into the Champions League, and you have to hope to compete against City. And City get knocked out, and you have a situation where you can go all the way in the Champions League and win a trophy that's not based on consistency. You know what I mean?
I would imagine a lot of the Brighton squad at the moment are probably still a little bit shocked that Graham Potter's not there anymore.
Yeah,
you know, this manager that they believed in, and you know, he's managed to give them so much belief to do things in their games that they've done. You know, they sell some of their best players. They sell a player like Cucurella. There's no drop off. They go out and they continue to scratch out good results. Now they've got another guy coming in that they've got to try and buy into. It's going to be difficult.
Here's the thing for Brighton. Brighton are based on you win 2 out of every 6 games. You draw a game and you beat some of the bigger teams. Potter's going to Chelsea now, and he's going to have to get win after win after win.
But here's a question: do you think that Graham Potter do you think Brighton, with Graham Potter as their manager, were playing were overachieving. Because if you think that they were overachieving and he was able to do magic at Brighton and get these players to overachieve, then there's no guarantee that the next guy coming in can do that. And maybe you will see Brighton go back to a level which is more really where they are.
Yeah. Last season, they overachieved. They had a pretty good league position last season. The season before that, they were with Newcastle and almost getting relegated. They were in the bottom, close to the bottom. And Potter has done a good job, but only in the last 12 to 18 months. And some people might take issue with what I'm saying. But he's learned the ropes. It's going to be difficult for him to go to Chelsea and try to get even into the top four. Will be an achievement, I think, for Chelsea.
None of his players either.
Four.
Other than Cucurella, he doesn't know anyone, does he?
And look, who's predicted that? BX Scanner predicted fourth place for Chelsea. Tony did as well, but no one else is really saying anything about Chelsea. So Tony thinks Chelsea will be still a top four team. Not to pick on you, Tony, but you have that belief that Chelsea will still be there or thereabouts, right?
Yep.
It could be Potter. Could be anything. He could be good at Chelsea. We don't know. Potter seems like a psychological genius.
It's going to be very interesting for me to see how Graham Potter manages a player like Aubameyang.
Yeah.
Does Aubameyang believe? Does he? I mean, he's gone there under Thomas Tuchel, someone that he knew before, and everyone was talking about a grand reunion. But you have to remember that when he left there, he didn't leave with a big hug. Oh, I'm going. It was on. There was some, contentious things going on. There were stories about him being a bad influence and blah, 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 blah. So he's gone there to Thomas Tuchel, and a week later, he's gone. Does he buy into Graham Potter? It's okay hearing him in interviews saying the right things, but it strikes me that if Aubameyang doesn't believe that Graham Potter is equal to tell him, no, don't do that, do this. You see what you're doing there? Cut that out, do that. If Aubameyang is listening to that and don't buy into him, it ain't going to work.
No, it's not. 00 Slicex says Gabriel Jesus needs to give his all, even though it may mean that he gets a card and misses the next game. It's going to happen eventually.
Exactly. I'm with that.
Each game is worth 3 points. And, the Premier League, even though you put me in that difficult position, Stan, earlier, one draw, one win, which one do you want? I picked the Liverpool, but I wanted to win at. At the end of the day, it's still 4 points, I believe. And it's against a Spurs team and a Liverpool team that I think are going to be very close in the top four race as well. Tony, we're going to wrap this up pretty soon, right? You got to go soon.
I can keep going.
You getting hungry?
I am getting hungry. But
Liverpool, Brighton. Did you do that one already, Tony?
I said Liverpool was a win.
All right. Palace at home to Chelsea is the next one. 16th place. Patrick Vieira against said Graham Potter's Chelsea.
Coming up, this might be my upset.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to let me know right now, but think about it.
What was my pick? I said Palace, didn't I?
You did pick Palace, yeah.
I think it's either to be
We double check that.
I picked Palace.
I think it's likely to be a draw.
You think it's going to be a draw? Okay. Yes, Dan, you did pick Palace as your upset over Chelsea. It's the one game where you have some separation in the points, 16 versus 7th place. Patrick Vieira's had a difficult start. They played Newcastle away. They played Liverpool. And picked up a lot of draws, actually, Palace have.
That's what I'm going for.
You're going to go for Crystal Palace?
Yeah, because even if it's draws right, it's a good spread.
Yeah, it is. I'm probably going to go for the Liverpool win with 4 points.
Gone are the days where I pick a team that's 1 point behind the other team, Tony. I get it now.
Well done. Alonso.
Took me a while to click on what we were doing.
He's finally got it, Tony. Finally got it.
This is I care about matches. I can pick up points in a week. So I'm going for Crystal Palace.
Yep. You're
Because I do
going for
care.
Crystal Palace to beat
Because
Chelsea.
I do care about this game. This game of the match week things.
This is the I
This is my
do care
obsession.
about this game, Tony.
Alonso with big balls in this episode, man. He's just like bold
He's
as fuck in
gone,
this one. He's just
yeah.
like, yeah, man. I
I
like it.
got to because Gary and Ray are gonna take counterpoint, right? And Gary's gonna hog up the conversation anyway. So I might as well take it. I might as well take advantage of it while I still can, right?
Yeah, exactly. And you got some ground to make up there. With
Yeah,
9 points. So you got,
no fooling, right? I have like what a gazillion points in
at
stands.
least you accept the points that you've earned and don't try to argue with me about it. Tony, Crystal Palace at home to Chelsea.
You already asked me. I said a draw. Come on.
Okay.
Let's hurry this up.
Fulham at home to Newcastle. Yeah, let's move it along.
Newcastle.
Okay, Fulham at home been pretty good, Stan.
I think
I
a
think
draw.
I'd go with a draw as well. Newcastle, I think Eddie Howe's in danger if he keeps.
Oh,
on
isn't Isaac injured though?
who?
Isaac, because they had an injury up front, which is why they rushed in Isaac, who's done pretty well for them. And I think he might be injured. And if that's the case, maybe Fulham will just not, Fulham might be able to nick it. I'm sure I heard something quite recently, listening on the radio, or as my granny would say, the wireless in the last
The
couple of
wireless.
days.
I'll take a draw there. I think Fulham have been pretty
Mm.
good with Mitrovic so far this season, and have proven a tough nut to crack. Alonso, Fulham, Newcastle.
I think Newcastle win this game. I think that the money Newcastle have bought, they really haven't shown any ambition to do anything really. So yeah, I think Fulham have I think Fulham are kind of set that they're not going to get relegated their first year back. I think they have a good foundation with the way they play football. So yeah, I think I'm going to give Fulham a win here.
If Fulham stay up, Arsenal get $1 million. $1 million.
Why?
Bernd Leno.
Oh, I see. Okay.
If Fulham stay up 2 seasons, they get $2 million. £2 million. Sorry, not dollars. Tony, Southampton, Everton, and I will say, it's Newcastle has been. I don't know what kind of pressure they're under. They're building slowly.
There's one place between those two teams, right? Southampton and
Southampton, Everton. Yeah, it's
yeah.
one of those. We're talking about a.
Is this Tony's who gives a fuck game?
He's got
No.
No.
This is a Sonny Chiba quadruple feature.
He's got about
I'm gonna
4.
start off with bitches of a night.
What the fuck?
Yeah, Southampton, Everton. Who really cares, right?
I actually care about this game.
Okay.
But
Give it
go
to
on,
me.
Tony.
Mitrovic will replace Vardy as the usual suspect. Let's skip that one because really Southampton, Everton. I think Southampton will win that game. Arsenal play at Southampton later this month, so that's one to look forward to. Bournemouth at home to Brentford. Tony.
Brentford.
Tony.
Brentford.
At Bournemouth. Yeah, you would think they would win that one, Stan, right? Ivan Tony.
There we go. Fucking hell. Getting popping up. Fucking. All right. Yes. Yes,
Could
right.
the real Ivan Tony please stand up? The one that scored against Leeds or the one that failed against Arsenal? Hey, we must be pretty good if we kept him quiet.
Oh, yeah. And just a big shout out as well, Mark. In case you didn't know, Coolio passed away today. And if you don't know who Coolio is, he's spending all our lives living in a gangster's paradise.
I thought he died about a week ago, Stan.
Yesterday.
Yesterday.
Vancouver is
I'll be honest, I didn't really like any of his music, to be honest.
the land that time forgot. That's Vancouver. Lots of movie references tonight. I've got The Hunt for Red October with Arsenal.
Sonny
That kept
Chiba.
me last night. Sean Connery getting points for Arsenal. The Hunt for Red October, Alonso. All right, Bournemouth at home to Brentford.
Brentford win, isn't it?
Brentford.
Ivan Tony. Come on. Another one in your quadruple, Tony. The second in the matinee. West Ham at home to Wolves.
Yeah, this is a be
Alonso's
Sister
gonna
of
carry
Street
that.
Fighter. Sister of Street Fighter.
The sister of Street Fighter.
0-0 draw.
0-0 draw. West Ham have been horrible this season.
Yeah, what's going on with them?
Yeah.
Didn't they buy Paqueta?
Yep. He hasn't settled in, I guess.
They bought somebody else. They bought another player as well. Samaka. So again,
Kamaka.
two players that we were either linked with or Arsenal fans were saying, put them on the shopping list.
Yep.
So, it's only a matter of time, I think. They've had a few players that have been quiet this season compared to their efforts last season, like Sionchu. Do you know what I mean? So I think that West Ham maybe just being a little bit of a gelling process going on. They've got to come good.
Okay.
I think.
18th versus 17th. They are both of those teams just.
Well, that's another Tony don't give a fuck game, isn't it? Surely.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why it's Sister of Street Fighter.
It's the second one in the matinee. All right. Here's a good one, Alonso. Man City at home to Man United. Can Man United take some points from City?
So my second part of Alonso's I care about the match is I'm going for Wolves this game. Anyway, carry on.
You're going for Wolves in that game?
Yeah.
All right.
So
next one up is City versus United. The derby, Manchester derby.
So for some reason, United always come out to play in this game, even though their sides are very bad recently compared to City's. Are we looking at right?
So BX Gunner said, "Why isn't Mark going to this game?" I guess the Leeds boys and the Arsenal boys got the upper hand on Mark. So Mark being a Wolves fan, is not going to go to the Wolves game.
So where is the game going to be played?
In London.
United in City.
Yeah, City and United. That's in Manchester.
Yeah, he could make it after Arsenal. Why didn't he do that?
Yeah, I think that game. I'm not. Hang on. Hold on a minute. I'm not 100% sure, but I definitely think that game will be taking place in Manchester. I think, if my geography, I could be wrong. Yeah, it's in Manchester, right?
We're getting crossed over between West Ham, Wolves.
Talk about a West Ham one.
Because of BX Gunner's comments.
Man City v Man U should be in Manchester somewhere.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm right. Okay.
Can United
is it Etihad or is it Old Trafford? Sorry.
At the Etihad.
I thought it was at Coronation Street. No. Oh.
So
the road return.
It's going to be Manchester City can win by a lot.
You can just see it. Both teams turning out and playing a football match on the cobbles of Coronation Street.
Tony, I actually hope Man United can get a point out of City. A draw would be perfect.
Helps us.
I was gonna go with a 2-2 draw, but now I'm gonna go with Holland 2, City 1, Man United 2.
City 1, Man United to win. Yeah, you're a bit of a Ten Hag fan, aren't you?
No, I said Holland's a good 2. So 3 goals.
I just say City 2.
Okay.
So you got to think, right? If you're Erling Haaland, right? He's fucking big wig in fucking football, and that you got to Man City. Surely you know the score. His old man played for Man City. He knows the drill. He knows that. Well, I'm here in the Premier League.
Yeah.
I want to be the fucking Kylian Mbappe geezer. You know that this is the game to turn up in.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's gonna be really interesting because sometimes when you expect some derby days, especially like Chelsea and Tottenham, which is supposed to be a big game, always ends in a draw.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see whether there's going to be some kind of nullification and it ends in a draw. Like Tony says, he goes for a Desmond, then he's going for a 2-2. right? It could be that.
3-2.
Or
3-2.
oh, I thought you said 2-2. All right, mate, 3-2. But is it gonna be where we're really gonna see some kind of messianic Cristiano Ronaldo-onic performance by Haaland, and he's gonna like show us like this is a fucking big difference here. Do you know what I'm getting at? It's gonna be interesting.
2 braces.
You know,
Here's the thing about
or is he going to be withdrawn and misses and it ends a 0-0 or ends a 1-1 and one of those scores isn't Haaland. It's going to be interesting to see if he lives up to it. What happens? Do you know what I'm getting at?
And Holland has started off so hot and fast. It's possible he could slow down. Mo Salah around November had 15 goals last season. He slowed down. Not to talk about Liverpool again. Tony, you're going for a 3-2 with City winning. So, anything else on the Manchester City derby?
It'd be kind of funny if Maguire, right, takes out Holland and all hell breaks loose. That'd be funny.
Harry Maguire, having played for England.
Come on, can't we get to a return of Street Fighter?
We'll be sitting on the bench. We'll be sitting on the bench. Let's skip to the Monday game, Leicester versus Nottingham Forest. That's
Why are we?
one.
Okay, so now we're going straight to fucking Street Fighter.
Yeah, straight to Street Fighter. Leicester versus Nottingham Forest. Two teams that probably will get relegated.
Another 0-0 draw.
0-0 draw. Alonso, Leicester, Brendan Rodgers going to get sacked, right?
Part 3 of my Alonso cares about the match. I say Forest should to win 1-0 to Forest.
1-0 to Forest. Yeah, Stan, you quite like Nottingham Forest. You want to keep them up, right?
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of my childhood a little bit. Nottingham Forest were always there or thereabouts, and they disappeared for so long. And they've got so many players. How many players did they bring in? 22. Isn't it?
Yeah.
They brought in something like 22 players, Nottingham Forest, and some of those players have gone out on loan. So it's very hard to gel. I mean, one of the players for me that I like, what I want to see do well at Nottingham Forest is Renan Lodi, the left back. Only reason, he's a player that I discovered on FIFA about like 4 FIFAs ago. And always like, look, get him in my team as a backup left back. And, you see like art imitating life. And here he is in the Premier League. So I want to see this guy, do well. But, yeah, it's a kind of a don't give a fuck game. But I've got a feeling that maybe because it's at Nottingham Forest, they're at home, they might be able to snatch a win.
Leicester's at home.
It must be difficult for a manager to pick a team out of fucking
Leicester's at home
coming in, right? Oh, is it at Leicester? Leicester selling, but Leicester. I think that Brendan Rodgers is waiting to be sacked and walk away with his compensation, which is what happens. Yeah. He's just waiting to walk away with a big bag of money, But he doesn't want to. He doesn't want to say the wrong thing, which means you're in breach of getting the money. You said the wrong thing, or you breached your contract. Do you know what I mean? There's all clauses in that. So it's just any day now. I mean, this is a team that has Samare in their squad, who was a player that we were looking after, right? Yeah. Who's the other one they got? Is it Decore? No, Ndidi. Yeah, Ndidi. 2 players, right? Yeah. Add in Tielemans, that's 3 players. Add in Maddison, that's a 4th player. That's 4 players in there, and they're still playing so badly.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's going on there.
Yeah. Speaking of team that's playing badly, Gary's going to go to the second game in 2 days. Leeds at home to Villa.
So Gary's going to the Arsenal Tottenham game, and he's going to travel up north and go to Leeds with Leeds. Mr. Tom?
Yeah, with Tom. Yeah.
Return of Street Fighter, Stan.
It's another one with Steven Gerrard is in danger here, right?
Yeah, go back to
Scotland. His job.
Where did they go?
Steven Gerrard, Aston Villa, done really well at Rangers. But as I've always said, and I've lived in Scotland for some time, and I have a couple of close friends that are Scottish and support Scottish teams. But it's a different ball game. It really is. It's very similar to the French league. There's only 2 teams that are ever going to really win it, and they may be a third team that can give the second team a bit of trouble. But it's very different, and you're seeing it happen now with Steven Gerrard coming in now and playing. He's now in WCW with the big boys play, and he's not finding it very easy. He's got players in there like Coutinho on big money, a player that we know that we've seen that can be brilliant, but since he left Liverpool has really been off it a little bit, and I'm so glad that we didn't get him. It's not working, so I don't know what happens with with a manager like Steven Gerrard. Look, the thing is, I actually like him. I've always liked Steven Gerrard. I think he was a good player, fantastic player, and I want to see him do well. I want to see a young manager that's been a player and been successful. I want to see them to go into it. I would love to see Steven Gerrard at Liverpool. That's where he should be at some point. And even though we all take the piss out of Fat Frank,
Liverpool fans don't want to see that.
But even though we all take the piss out of Fat Frank and that, he should have been at Chelsea. It came too early, came far too quickly. So it is what it is.
It should be a good game. I think Jesse Marsh has done a good job with Leeds, notwithstanding their limited team. There, I got one in at the end, as well as one in at the beginning. Listen, I think we'll leave it there, right? Alonso, Tony, you want to say anything about the Leeds Villa game?
2-1.
Like Stan was saying that, I have friends who support Rangers, and, like Stan was saying, it's not like the same, league like it is like Premier League or La Liga or, like that. So, but Gerard loved at Rangers, and I think Gerard got too big-headed and went to Villa not knowing how hard it was going to be on him. So, yeah, I think he would be best suited at Liverpool given time, but it just ain't working out at Villa for some reason, And I think, like Stan said, they have players there, like, Coutinho, like Valencia, like Ollie Watkins.
Buendia.
Yeah, and Ollie Watkins as well, and also Tyrone Mings. And so, but the disconnect, there's something that went wrong with there. So, yeah. So,
BX kind of said Gerrard Vieira were Arteta's rivals beginning of the season. Maybe not, but definitely he's out.
No, I think he's talking about as in like where they are in the game, where they've managed kind of thing, right? I get what you're saying there. At the beginning of the season, you would say that, Arteta, Gerrard is kind of he's fresh to our league, and you would have to say that, Gerrard probably has equally as amount coaching experience as Arteta, being in Scotland, whether it's a different league or not. Vieira has more experience than Arteta in other leagues, but I get what he's saying there. And so far, Mikel Arteta is showing to be the better bet out of those.
All right, well, we'll leave it there. We talked about
So I'm going for Leeds in this game, obviously.
Right. Yeah, I'll go for Leeds too. What was I going to say? Yeah, we've gone through the hunt for Red October. I've shown you some stats. I've manipulated the numbers about possession and the strength of the league.
You said Liverpool 58 times.
Liverpool is my second team, apparently.
That portion of the show, which we will now call XL Fan Circle.
We've had the prediction podcast that Stan wants to redact after 3 more games and have it back. But
we had a quadruple who gives of a game of a week, starting with bitches of a night.
Literally,
we also had Alonso's I care about shit a week, so yeah, it worked out perfectly.
But literally, predictions means making an assumption on something without having to
fortune telling.
All right, so you got your point, Tony.
All right, Tony wants to get out of here. He wants to go eat something. Yep. You all will be very early, so you probably won't be joining me. I'll try and get a pregame show in.
Hey, I'm off, so I'll set my alarm clock.
So, if you can make it, that would be cool. Stan will be sleeping and not watching.
Recording it on Fubu.
So we'll be heading east with Maahir, Matt, or someone else, and have Alonso with me as well. Listen, Stan, thanks for helping out last Thursday again. Alonso, great show last Thursday, great show tonight. And Tony, it's good to see you back after a few shows out.
Yep.
So take us out of here, Tony. You'll get the final word. I'm not going to go final word with everybody because we've gone long tonight.
Eva.
Just like
Last Monday was the last time I was on here
Night, Tony.
talking
Night,
about
Tony.
our hurricane hitting Puerto Rico. Now, this week, we have Florida, Carolina's getting hit. So, shout out to those people. And it's just good to be back with you guys.
Yeah, definitely. Everyone in the path of that storm and who are dealing in the aftermath. I hope you stay safe. You are safe. And
it's really bad, right? But if I was being fucked with by a hurricane that was called Ian, I'd probably try and fight it. I'm like, Ian, the fuck? You know what I mean? Come on in. All right, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to make light of it. But
it could be Ian, right?
bad.
You know,
What a name to name a hurricane. Hurricane.
could be righty.
You know.
these things are all predetermined. It's not like predictions.
But, quick, leave your home. Why? Hurricane Ian's coming. Like, Hurricane Ian? Like, I'm watching Netflix.
Yeah. BX, kind of be safe out there. I get home from work at 3 a.m. Games at 7:30. Stay awake, right? Stay awake.
Yeah. Thanks for coming in, everyone. And if you are in that hurricane path on a serious note, though, look out for that shit because nature can be quite vicious. So if you are anywhere in that path, batten down the hatches. And I'm really looking forward to coming back on Sunday to see, where we are. This is a big one, the North London Derby. It doesn't get any better than this, Schooners. So I'm looking forward to we all come back here on Sunday and
say good night, Stan.
Hopefully we'll all be patting each other on the back. You know what I'm saying? Instead of catching each other's tears in buckets.
Yep. Listen, thanks for joining, everyone. We'll see you on the weekend. North London Derby, you're right, Stan. It doesn't get much bigger than this.
It's the big one. That's what it's all about.
It is a big one. It's a big one in the context of our next challenge. And we go one game at a time. Say good night, Tony. Say good night, Alonso. We're out of here.
Tony. Good night, Alonso. Good night, Stan. Good night, Ray. Good night, BX.
Alonso?
Yeah, thanks a lot for having me, Ray and Stan, Tony. Come on, you Gunners. Let's beat Tottenham.
Come on, you Gunners. Let's beat Tottenham. That's it. We're over and out. See you.